Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk. Week 1 is over. Hug your kickers, guy. God bless those kickers. You know Q. Go see his video. Go see his video. Wait, Tony, where are you, bro? Tony?
That offense is going to turn into a pumpkin again. It's not a question of if they're turning into a pumpkin. It's just a question of when it's I just don't know the
Put them on a 3x1.
I feel like we're getting close. I feel like we get close to
This is stadium intro.
What up, boys? We're back. Hey, it's midnight in Cincinnati. How was the ride back down to earth, Bengals fans? I told you it was coming, and here we are, back down to earth for Joey B, or Joey Regression, as I like to call him. I'm playing her tonight. The voice is a little shot, but I got 2 hours left to roast these Bengals. So, Sonny, let's get this thing rolling.
Okay, so we're coming flaming. We're coming flaming here. You know what? I was gonna start with the Ravens, but I'm tempted. I'm gonna start with the Ravens only because of all these games, it was the only one that was, it was a mellow game. So let's get the Raven game out of the way.
There was that first half.
It was the first half, yeah. So I'll start with the Ravens, and then I'll throw it.
Given what we saw the Ravens do in the first half last year, I feel like that was pretty tame. Like they didn't go down by like 20 or nothing. You know what I mean? They usually Hulk Hogan that thing up where they let them get up by like 10 points and then battle back. They just decided that we just gonna win.
Yeah. So in the first half they look rusty. Rusty's the word that I would use. Both teams. I mean, the Jets never got out of that rustiness. Lamar also looked rusty. The running game was not as I said. The defense was playing well, and our just Houston was abusing whoever the left tackle was, which it was not a fair matchup. I'm not here to say, oh my God, look at Houston. I will tell you more. Ravens.
Oh my God, he plays Myles Garrett next week.
Yeah, that left tackle was not good. So he got abused.
Oh no, TJ Watt's not there.
Yeah. So Jets fan got a sink to reality because now the Ravens interior D lineman was constantly getting penetration and a lot of pressure. That's good for the Steelers because I know that interior D lineman was having a good day last night yesterday. And then the secondary for the Ravens played good. There was a couple of big runs that the Jets exploited, in which that killed my key to avoid the big runs. A couple of decent runs that the Jets hit early in the game. But other than that, I mean, they kept the passing game. Williams, the newcomer, got that pick. Humphrey had a solid game. Stevens had a Fuller. Sadly, he's out for the year, but he had a solid game. It was until the 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, where basically they were playing prevent defenses with the Jets start moving the ball more. But other than that defense was completely solid throughout that game. On the offensive side, it was a first half to forgive, and then Lamar basically said, "Okay, I'm tired of this." Duvernay, hey, I said Duvernay has not been consistent throughout the preseason, right? I said Duvernay is basically my fourth receiver, guy that I love coming out of Texas. He came out, he showed up. That first touchdown pass specifically, it was a contested touchdown pass. Guy was all over him. And the guy came down with a touchdown. On the second touchdown pass, a beautiful touchdown pass by Lamar Jackson. He baited looking Mark Andrews, and then Duvernay opened on the other side. So that was an easier completion for Duvernay. And then the big bomb. I know we talk about who's gonna be that deep threat. Well, Sauce, it wasn't Sauce's fault, by the way. Sauce passed him to whoever the safety, and both safety was like, who's supposed to cover this dude? Whatever. And then
Good
he
old
just
palms failing. That happened.
yeah. They both look at each other like, are we supposed to? And then you can see Sauce being frustrated. Sauce had a hell of a game. He blanketed Mark Anderson one. He had a hell of a game. Very impressed with the young guy. I would also Hamilton had his place there. He didn't F anything up, which is good. He didn't get exposed. Linderbaum looked good. There was one play that he got manhandled.
See, excuse me. Wait, I thought he had a rough go for at least the first half.
The first half was sluggish around. On the running side, he wasn't great. There was not, but on the passing, Lamar really didn't get that much penetration to that middle. There was a one play that Williams manhandled him. Other than that, and that was in the first half. Other than that, he held his own. I was surprised, not surprised, but I was happy to see. And obviously, we lost our backup left tackle. We don't have a backup left tackle now. He's out for the year. I was not surprised by that because I knew he's coming from a history of injuries coming into this game. And then Fuller, that one sucks. Not necessarily because we don't have the depth. I think we have the depth to, especially Marcus Peters, very close to coming back. But he had a good game. It sucks for him, right? So that was not good. The Ravens basically said, it's raining. Anybody that's coming off an injury, you ain't playing. Boyle not playing. J.K. Dobbins not playing. Marcus Peters. They were all warming up, and they said, nah, none of you guys are playing. Stanley, I knew was not going to play, but the rest of those guys had a chance. The conditions.
Sonny, you know what he said. He didn't say it's raining. He looked across the field, saw them jerseys, and was like,
that could be true.
It's the Jets. It's
but
the
now,
Jets.
The other
I'm good. Everybody go back in the locker room that's questionable. We good. We got this. We got this.
True.
I just saw Joe Flacco in warm-ups. We got this.
It was, I will say, that was kind of my takeaway from the game itself. When I didn't watch this one live. There was another game I had my eyes on. But when I went back and rewatched it, that was my big takeaway is less about the Ravens and like these Jets fans who convinced themselves that this team is anywhere close to contention. I mean, look, and maybe it gets better when Zach gets out there, but they're a non-serious.
I wouldn't even say that Joe Flacco wasn't necessarily a problem. He was getting pressure through the middle, and that for a young quarterback. And the YouTuber that I have from the Jets, he said, "Well, Zach Wilson's slippery." Yeah, we'll see. I haven't been watching enough of Zach Wilson to deny that. But it was rough. That O-line, and the thing is, in the video that I made, a Jets fan came and said, like, "Are you crazy? Our interior O-line is one of the best interior O-lines in the NFL." I'm like, really good? Because I said the interior, I like Burrow Tucker and all that, but I said, like, I thought that our interior was going to dominate, and they did. Anyway, overall, a good performance for the Ravens. And, JT, nobody close to JT. Although, a new young comer there with a big 58-yarder. But we'll talk about him later. Q, what is your thought about this game?
Jets suck. Jets are terrible. They're a terrible football team.
I'm hoping Ace has
and to, you know what?
All these Jets fans.
I'm kind of worried because emotional win. The Browns are going to be playing them, and like that's the kind of like that would just be the right thing for the mood, right? The mood killer. Like you win the game.
Q?
It's at home. Okay. It would be shocking, but I just can't throw out shocking at this point. The Browns have been on a better arc than they've been in the past, but like we ain't there yet to where I could just throw it all out. But the Jets just aren't very good. And Lamar is, I mean, like there was that one incredible play where he was like dead to right.
Yeah.
Like behind the it's like 3rd and 15. They have him 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he just gets it. He just gets it, right? This is what we thought the Ravens probably were going to be against the Jets. I don't think any surprises here. This doesn't really change anything or move the needle if you were on the fence about the Ravens either, just because it's like you expect the Ravens to perform in this way. Lamar, again, had a great day. I think, again, the intrigue about the Baltimore Ravens right now, unfortunately / kind of fortunately for them, is about Lamar's contract situation, which now that's just going to loom every day that they play. People are going to be wondering like how long are they going to have him or what they're going to do about that contract next year. But other than that, they're fine. They beat the Jets. They're still the Ravens, y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I know people were in there thinking that they're going to lose to the Jets because it was Joe Flacco, and that's where I felt like the revenge game narrative just kind of jumped the shark, y'all. You know what I mean? That's where I felt revenge game there. That's where I had to take a stand.
Yeah. I think for me, my big takeaway, the takeaway from this game is the Jets, like I said, are a non-serious football team. I thought it was interesting how much success they had running outside the tackles, but, it wasn't enough that you draw any big conclusions about the Ravens defense. And then, Sonny, I know you were happy with Linderbaum. I'll be honest, it really did stand out to me on tape. And maybe it wasn't just Linderbaum, but it was the two guards next to him. But I thought the interior of that line, you're on mute, by the way.
The left guard was not, he did not have a great performance. And then when Juwan James was there, also the left side was not good. And oddly enough, when they put Macari for Juwan James, I thought he played better as a left tackle than Juwan James.
The other thing we need to do is we need to give, because we have like roasted Devin Duvernay on this show quite a few times. Yeah. That was a big boy catch. That was a big boy catch
touchdown.
For the
touchdown.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. There were a couple of nice catches this weekend. I mean, Jamar Chase almost had all-timer, and I feel like Deontay Johnson actually.
Man, that catch.
That was crazy what he did right there. Right
it
after
was a passing of the torch of wide receiver one in the division. I mean, it's been a
it was
time
the same
coming,
exact catch too. It looked like the same animation. It was like
Jamar did it first, and then Deontay's like, "Oh, you want to see that completed, Jamar? I'll show you what a real wide receiver one does."
On the sideline too. Like,
just saying.
Yeah, that was Deontay might be really good. Yeah.
Might
be time to drop the drops and jokes. You know what I mean?
Anything else, Tony?
About the Ravens?
About the game?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get a sense for what their offensive identity wants to be. We talked a lot about this during the offseason as far as, are they going to go back to ground and pound? They're going to more and more 12. Likely, I thought was, pretty disappointing in this game. But
Harbaugh called him out.
Yeah.
Harbaugh called him out today. Harbaugh said the holding penalty, he did it in the preseason, and he did it again on the outside. Like, basically, he's saying, like, it's one thing to get a holding penalty when you're in the line, but when you're in the outside wide and getting a holding there, it should not happen.
Yeah.
And like, Harbaugh looked pissed at Likely.
And the Ravens really didn't establish a running game at all in this game. I mean, it kind of never got going. And I'm just, my worry here for them going forward is, I mean, obviously look at Dobbins back and whatnot, but like, what exactly are they offensively? I mean, are they just going to be a down the field team? Because if they're a down the field team, like, why didn't Hollywood want to stay? You know what I mean? Greg Roman could just go to Hollywood and say, no, look, we're switching up. He said, we're going to like be more downfield passing. You're going to fit right in. But Hollywood wanted out. So I'm having a hard time figuring out like, who are the Ravens at this point, but it's 1 week. So we got plenty of time to figure that out.
16 more to go. Ace.
That's right. We have one team figured out thus far.
Did Lamar hit Hollywood with the Magic Johnson?
I think for me,
I'm not gonna be here.
They keep talking about these meters for next offseason, and I'm like,
And for me, with this game, I expected the Ravens to take care of business. When the Jets put out Joe Flacco, I knew that was a mistake, especially going against a high Ravens team. His former team, I talked about how he threw the pick six during the preseason. Goes in, the new safety for the Ravens, Marcus Williams, picks him off. Not too much of a surprise. Not surprised that fans were cheering for Mike White to get put in the game. But I think the Ravens went out and handled business as we expected them to. I think the Jets still need that quarterback position. I don't even think that it's Zach Wilson. If they get a good quarterback, maybe there's something in the future. Elijah Moore had a decent game. But I think for the Ravens, they responded how we kind of expected them to. I agree with Tony with Duvernay. I think Duvernay did make a big boy catch with that touchdown catch. And I think Bateman definitely had a solid game as well. And we'll have to see where they go week 2. But I think that this one was much expected, especially with the quarterback situation.
Yeah, let me round with this. Likely, in my opinion, had a very, very bad game. I know Ravens fans were hype about him. There's 2 drops in the holding. Bateman also, there was a pass. I mean, the guy made a great tackle on the ball, but I want him to hold on to that. And another guy that I wasn't thrilled, because you guys know I call it as I see it. Queen, I thought he got an average game. Not great, not bad, but there's a lot of lanes that he should have closed those gaps before, and he didn't come in and clean them up. Okay, we have a couple super chats here. Start with Ray Rex.
Couple billion here, my goodness.
Yeah.
Shout out to chat. Chat is lively.
Yes.
This is about 3/4 of what it usually is. About 3/4 of what it usually is. I don't know why. Anybody know why it's about 3/4? It's like there's I don't know, something missing tonight.
Like maybe they missed the chat to come here because they clicked wide left of the screen.
I think they finally showed back up. It's been a while.
I see Diddy in here. You know, Diddy out here holding his L tough. I respect it. You know what I mean?
I don't even have to see him yet. I just know Heel Tony is here today. Shout out to you, Ray-Rack.
I'm back. I'm back.
I know Ace is in shambles after yesterday.
Shambles after week 1? We'll see.
Noah Stone here says Tom Brady.
Ace tore down all his Bengal stuff. Y'all see his back? I'm just playing.
Yeah, they thought I didn't have the shirt on. I'm like, I got a Joe Burrow.
It was like enough.
Noah Stone here says Tom Brady will have kicked the extra point himself.
Oh my God, here we go. Nope.
And then we get it's New York and Cleveland. It's a New York in Cleveland. Go Browns.
I see what he tried to do there. Okay, Austin. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a new day for me. I'm turning over a new leaf.
Jupiter Rain here says what happened to the blowout Ace. Predicted Joe Burrow watch. Okay, Ace will respond to that when the game.
Yeah, I don't think I predicted a blowout.
No,
you didn't. But Joey B did try to make it a blowout. In his defense, Joey B did try to make it a blowout.
Somebody, by the way, before I read this one, somebody told me on Twitter, the MVP of the Steelers-Bengals game, the best player for the Steelers in that game was Joey Burrow. I don't know if they're correct, but that's what somebody told me.
I ain't gonna lie. I was watching this on Sunday Ticket, and you know how they give you the notifications in your corner. I thought something was wrong with mine because it kept on popping up. Joe Burrow interception. Joe Burrow interception. I'm like, ain't no way. No way.
Hey, it's not bad. Not bad for the 4th best safety room in the division, boys. I haven't checked yet. Let me check what PFF graded out Miles Killebrew. Miles, remember, my co-host here on the show rated the Steelers 4th because the room's not deep enough. The room's not deep enough. They got Miles Killebrew back there. Maybe guys, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Did I give the Miles Killebrew slander? I don't even know.
Listen,
that was me.
Let's go through. Hey, what were you guys' favorite Jesse Bates play from the game? Anybody got a favorite Jesse Bates play from that one? Jesse best safety in the North, making his presence felt out there. He's on a milk carton for half.
Come on, Tony. He was rusty.
He didn't play.
He didn't play.
Okay.
I don't know. Did Mitch make many plays yesterday?
I made one down. He made one down the middle of the field where your boy Jesse missed a tackle.
This one here says, Tony, is it just me or is the sky bluer? The birds are singing more beautifully.
It is.
And the world is just a better place. Shout out to you.
It absolutely is. It feels, we've had this kind of hangover. It's like, man, the world has been weird for the last year. And today, it feels right again. It's a new day. It is a new day. And it feels like we're back to, it's a return to normalcy, as they say. A return to normalcy in the National Football League.
Sammy Football here says, Bengals got beat so bad.
He's off the leash
to
today.
Get a new studio.
Come on, man.
You chose the wrong week to switch studios.
Yeah. That happened to me last year. There was a game that I couldn't come, and it was when we got hammered by, might have been the Bengals.
It was an embarrassing loss. I don't think it was the Bengals one. I think it was like a non-division foe, but I remember I was like, boy, he chose a week not to be on TV.
It was literally scheduled. I had said to the guys, I'm not coming, and Ace told us that he was not going to be in studio today, and it just happened to coincide. Why didn't Bengals go for 2 sack?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, it was a long snap. Hey, maybe block Minka. I don't know. I'm not a special teams coach, but like blocking Minka Fitzpatrick.
That was the wild thing that I heard. I heard somebody say, hey, the Bengals, they deserve to win the game. And like they could have blocked Minka on the extra point.
He didn't deserve to win that game.
That was not bad fate or why they fumbled the game. Like they had multiple opportunities, but the operation kicker was just terrible. that game for whatever reason. On top of other things, it should never have gotten to that position. But yeah.
Listen to Q talking about kickers and special. He's
I'm
converted.
an
He's
expert
converted,
now.
man. I know you're converted.
I like the face turn for Quincy when it comes to kickers. I am enjoying that.
Look, man, I was getting beat up by the NWO. It was a 3-man beat down. They was about to get the chair and wrap it around my ankle and do the jump off the top rope to Pillmanize my ankle. And then K York came down there with the hammer like Sting in 97 and just So now I'm tagging with Sting, baby. We rolling, yo.
The more I see Burrow play, the more and more I see a possible Andrew Luck type career for Burrow, where the amount of hits he takes drastically shorten his career. I hope I will say this: Andrew Luck. The problem with him, it wasn't the sacks, although that was a problem. When Andrew Luck, he liked to run out of the pocket like Lamar did, but he did like Cam Newton. He would like say, "You're there. Let's just just collide." And
they're different runners. I think, like Andrew would go up the middle and like pound a little bit more, but they're still both taking an incredible amount of punishment. Like 55 dropbacks and 7 sacks. I mean, I can't imagine how much he actually got hit in that game if that's just the sack total.
He got sacked on almost every pressure he took, though. I mean, a lot of it was.
It was just like a lot of just pressure to sack.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of.
Yeah, a lot of this was like TJ was just there.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow's got to get rid of the ball. You know, his whole like I'm gonna be Joe Shiesty or whatever. The Steelers sat in cover 2 all day and said, Joe, you're gonna have to be disciplined today. And Joe said, no, thank you. No, thank you very much. I'm gonna try and be Joe Shiesty. And
got caught wanting the bird. That's what happened.
That led to 6 turnovers, not 5, by the way. People keep saying this 5 number. No, he fumbled to take them out of field goal range at the end there. That's turnover number 6.
It's not a turnover officially.
How much did we lose by with 6 turnovers?
Oh, we went from Super Bowl to horseshoes that quick. It took 22 minutes into the podcast before we went from Super Bowl contender to we almost beat Mitch Trubisky. Write it down.
You can tell this is a good game because both of the participants of the fan bases that have it have no voice.
Yeah, it is. I will say that it is. You can tell that. You can tell
that they were both stressed.
Yeah, Q and Sonny are having very nice days, and me and Ace went through it. We went through it.
Yeah,
Ace, wait, hold on. Ace, were you saying something there?
What did it cost?
I was just saying it took 7 turnovers for us to lose by how many points? Or 6 turnovers?
Does it matter how much you lose by, or at the end of the year do they count that or no?
Hey, the Vegas.
What do they count point differential
at the end of the year?
Wins and losses.
End of the year is far.
Again, listen, we went from. I mean, you know, and this whole like they only lost by 1 thing for Bengals fans. Like, do you still consider yourself contenders because you lost a home game to the worst team in your division? Okay, and so if you think you're going to win the AFC North, that's a division loss. And the next time you play them in Pittsburgh. So you better not get swept in that series. And if you're going to be the number 1 seed, that's an AFC loss against a team that's not projected to make the playoffs.
We're talking about week 1. It's week 1. Is it the Super Bowl? Is it
week 1
Super Bowl now?
Yeah, no. What do we say about week 1? Week 1 is all about getting wins and losses.
Normalcy for me. This isn't a return for normalcy. I've never seen the Steelers this excited to beat the Bengals.
Because we're on franchises on 2 different paths. This is supposed to, all you guys are telling me.
We're not the Ravens.
No, hold on.
Super Bowl last year, though.
Hold on, time out. These are franchises in 2 totally different trajectories. All I've heard on this show since we started is that we can't wait till Ben Roethlisberger retires because that's when the Steelers enter hell, right? That's when Steelers fans, you're going to find out what it's like on the other side. And here we are on the other side. And you know what, guys? I kind of like it because while the Bengals are dreaming about our trips of February, they're out here losing to Mitch Trubisky and saying, well, we came close to beating Mitch. We came close to beating Mitch. I love it out here.
No, that's not what I said. I said that it took you guys 6 turnovers to beat us.
Yeah, it took Joe Burrow regressing right back to where he should be in order for you to lose. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's keep reading the as you see this one spicy, guys. Spicy one. Not playing your ones in the preseason will make you look rusty. I mean, that happened. I mean, at the Ravens, I don't know if it was that or the rain. But I will say this: was it like at least 3/4 of the league did not play their starters this preseason? It was more than usual. What happened, Jets fans? I thought they were supposed to sweep the North. Well, that dream came crashing.
At least, we're not going to agree on a lot today. All 4.
They really played the Ravens first and thought that was going to happen. That's what shocked me. It's like the audacity, like we're going to sweep the North. Who we play first? the Ravens? That's crazy to me. When like I can understand if it were like us, the Browns, where they're like, oh, they're going to be terrible. What you go like? Yeah, I could believe how you could buy into that. But you're like, hey, we're just going to walk in and beat Lamar Jackson, no problem. It's at home.
They by the way, to be fair, not to be fair, but they doubled down because I said like, but now with Joe Flacco, and they said that doesn't matter. We can do it with Joe.
Oh, you gave them an out when Zach Wilson got out, and they were still like, nah, man, nothing changed.
Hey, listen. That's
Which, by the way, tells me they don't think Zach's that good.
Fair.
At least we can all get along on roasting Jets fans today because.
Hey, look, you want to talk about two different trajectories. There's whatever the Steelers are on, and there's the Jets. All right, so you know, we're trying to figure out if they're going to be bad enough to get Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, or just tank it all for Caleb Williams next year. You know what I mean?
Kyle Rose, shout out to you. Thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars here. I was over the Bengals lost this morning, but I'm here for heel Tony to needle all of us Bengals fans. Bring the pain. Hey, shout out to him. Guess good for him.
It's about 90 more minutes. Just strap in.
Game medicine here. Linebacker T.Y. torn pectoral major muscle 4 to 6 weeks. That's better than what I thought. Right?
It's not, that's just
it's not official yet.
This is all Twitter. I mean, like I appreciate what he does, but
Najee Harris day to day, T Higgins concussion day to day, Joe Mixon hamstring tightness day to day. Bengals Steelers here says best O line versus best D lineman. Joey Burrow played great. Houday, here we go.
Did you say best O line like it? The Bengals are like what was he trying to say?
The Bengals don't have the best O line. No, I would disagree with that statement.
Okay. Okay, here we go. And
interesting statement.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of confusing for me, but Q went from can't trust this kickers to finding the one, and I love it. Enjoy history.
Q went from I hate all kickers to I'm dedicating my entire channel to Cade York, erecting a statue in front of the stadium. I'm buying his jersey. Like York. My goodness.
Watch for the York tat.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the Cade York tattoo.
Not yet. Yeah, just no. We'll give it a couple more weeks. Yeah,
I'll get a jersey if he kicks us into a Super Bowl. Though I ain't gonna lie. All right, man. Have to get the jersey, frame that up. You know what I mean? But
because Q was also the one. I have to say this. Q was the one that said one day, "You're a grown man here representing a kicker jersey." A kicker.
Hey, look! I make and create content for a living on the online space, and I know when it's time to hit the pivot. All right, and that's what I had to do. The double team came, and I had to hit the pivot foot. You know what I mean? I was about to let y'all put me out there, air me out like this. Cutie used to, no. Pivot gang. You're not about to double team me. Snap, hit the layup in. You ain't even know it. See?
Well, just come back stronger. How about Baker? LL?
How about him?
Oh, the Baker storyline is hilarious. I can't wait to talk about that game.
Spencer here says
it was like the perfect Baker Mayfield game.
It really could not have played out better. For if you're a Baker Mayfield hater, that's perfect.
That's exactly the Baker Mayfield. Like, yep, gets hype off of 3 throws. You know, we're kind of gifted to him, but we'll talk about it next.
Tucker wouldn't have missed any of those kicks. Please don't jinx him. And then we have
shout out to CBS's. I don't know if you guys watch this on TV. Ace, I know you were in the stadium, but I don't know if they put a mic on that upright. I mean, that's the loudest doink I've ever heard in my entire life.
I heard it in the stadium.
Holy cow!
It was loud. And then Boswell's face was priceless. It looked like a knuckleball coming out. Anyway, Browns, so many super chats. Browns really had to get bailed out by 2 horrendous calls to be Baker comeback W, a non-existing O-line, and have the audacity to show both after clowns. Go ahead.
Hey, yo. Y'all know what that sound like? Y'all know what that sound like? Sound like a loser. Sound like somebody who took an L. Sound like somebody who's not celebrating victory right now. That's what that sound like. I don't know what team you like, but that sounds like a loser to me. I don't know. Hey, Tony, What that sound
Yeah.
like to you? That sound like a loser?
Oh, I got a lot of them in my mentions.
Oh man, that sounds like somebody who's not experiencing the feeling of being 1-0. Can't relate this year. Can't relate. Can't relate.
No.
That's
Yeah.
right. The
You know
curse
what I
is
mean?
broken.
That's crazy.
Ravens D-line look. And by the way, be more nervous. Shout out to you from England. Ravens D-line looks serious. Offense needs to be faster. Pierce and Doof were the start of the game. That's another.
I thought Matabuke was really good too, by the way.
I couldn't name, but the whole D-line. Pierce was beasting. Matabuke was beasting. Campbell had a quite good game, so did Washington. That interior D-line was great, and it helped a lot because we only had 3 outside linebackers active. So
the thing about Calais Campbell is he's always that kind of, he just takes up space. You know what I mean? Even if he's not like a penetrating, offensive line still have to respect the skill level that he has. And so it opens things up.
I agree. When Q says special teams don't matter.
See, I never said this. I just said, see, everybody confuses what my beef was with special teams. It wasn't with the ideal and the concept of special teams. It was with y'all. But now I understand why y'all do this.
Yeah. This feels like Tony's response to the AFC North Talk.
No, it's way before that. This is a year. This is quite literally a year in the making.
No, because they gave him pretty bad butt whooping last year, too.
Yeah.
It was 2 of them.
Yeah,
this has been festering.
There's a full year in the making, yeah. Me and Bengals fans go way back, way before the deepest.
And watching Tony is like, man, I don't want to be there if the Bengals blow out the Browns on Monday Night Football. That's gonna be like 4 years of us of animosity about to be dumped on my head.
Tony,
and Bengals fans didn't listen. Last time Heel Tony was on the show. I let Browns fans hear it. I let Ravens fans hear it. Bengals fans got it easy that night for good reason. But football justice, here we are, week 1. And
week
Bengals
16?
fans, that was week 18.
Well, week 17, right? The second to last game of the year. It was when the Browns Monday Night Football game, right?
No. Heel Tony came out after we made the playoffs.
Oh,
yeah.
That was an obnoxious 2 weeks. I just kind of blanked it from my mind.
Yeah, well, you know what? They went from that right into shock the world against Cincinnati in Cincinnati with an offense. By the way, the Steelers. I mean, the thing about this game, that's so funny about it, the Steelers won. I mean, they could have punted on first down and had better offense. I mean, their offense no showed. Their defense had to play 100 snaps in this football game. We'll get to it later.
That's crazy.
But I was wrong last year.
Yeah.
When I said that last year's opener against Buffalo was one of the greatest defensive performances I've ever seen, and you guys called me out on that, said, Tony, that's ridiculous. You were right. I don't know if you guys were time travelers or not, but you probably were, because you probably saw this game, because this was one of the most legendary defensive performances I have ever seen.
Tony, talking about a return to normalcy in the NFL, like the Browns aren't 1-0 for the
first
time
time
since I was 5 years so.
That is true. That is true. But it can't. I guess it can't all. You know what I mean? Like we can't. It can't be 100%. We're like 95% there.
I can't even like make jokes about the Bengals right now because honestly, I have so much empathy towards that situation because that is some shit that would happen to us. Like everything in that game, I'm like, I've watched that game before against Pittsburgh. Literally, we've had that game. I think it was like 2 years ago when we tied them. Like I've been there. I can't even joke because I know that pain. I'm like,
Tom Brady would have won easily. Joey Burrow forces /holes on.
It is a fun thing that the Steelers do, by the way, which is that when they're gonna pull off like I guess not an upset, but they do like to do that thing in the AFC North where they just immediately start with a pick six in a big AFC North game. They did it to Lamar, they did it to Baker, and now they did it to Burrow. Bang bang, right off the top. It was a Minka pick six on Baker, Robert Spillane pick six on Lamar, which hilarious, by the way. Because Minka Fitzpatrick, best safety in the game. So you'll, at least in some way, you'll say, okay, well, it's not that bad that Burrow and Baker did that. But Lamar, Robert Spillane? Oh, boy.
Bengals only team in the AFC North on 2 game losing.
That's nasty. That's nasty. Counting the Super Bowl.
That
is nasty work.
Tony is feeling dangerous. It only took 5 turnovers to beat the Bengals.
And they really shouldn't have. They had no business.
It only took 5 turnovers. Hey, listen. Well, yeah, I mean, again, this is my favorite thing is that
This is the most.
Again, if you're playing any real team, if you're playing any real offense, it's a massive, massive blowout. It's a massive blowout. And so this whole idea that we're going to convince ourselves that, well, look, it took all this to beat us. Yeah, because the Steelers are a non-serious offense. I mean, my goodness, like I said, they could have punted on first down. The Steelers went 3 and out 48% of the time. 48% 3 and outs in this game. If Joe Burrow plays anywhere close to that against other opponents, I mean, the Bengals aren't just regressing. They're going to go back to losing football. We're talking about a 7-10 football team in Cincinnati.
Okay, only 10 points of 5 turnovers. Game should never been close, but goes into overtime. Pitt offense is awful. We will meet again. And Rex Fortune here said,
I love that we'll get you next time. Like, do you Bengals fans really think you're going to – I mean, you might get swept by Mitch. We'll get you next. You better get us next time. Or you got swept by Mitch. What are we talking about?
Q's unsung here is Jordan Elliott, third in DT pressures at 25% win rate.
He played really well. Jordan Elliott. He's had a good preseason. Nice to see that turn in. There's no alpha male in this group. We're all equals. Stop all that.
Heavy in the head.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I got you. Minka Pomado deserved it. Okay, shout out to you.
Appreciate that. We're coming around. We're starting to figure it out.
Baker almost Mayfield.
Oh yeah, I got something to say about that. Almost Baker.
Poor Baker.
Oh no, now Q is here as well. And I think I'm almost done. It's just okay. I just would like to point out that Devin Duvernay leads the NFL in touchdowns. Jamar Chase has less touchdowns than him. I'm just saying. Yeah, well, I don't want to say nothing about that. Congratulations to Pitt. Their D played great. Watt was everywhere. Minka fits perfect. Play elite level.
It's
Burn to Dallas. Oh,
yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah. Steelers are dirty is all. I mean, they should have renamed that stadium Charmin Field for all the Bengals fans out there. Because my goodness, I mean, soft.
Q. If K kicks us past 500, I'll do that tattoo for free. I love York. Look at that.
Hey man.
Well, they're past 500 right now.
Well,
yeah, I'm like,
you're talking about the end of the year?
You just want a Kate York tattoo because the team's probably going to be over 500.
No, wait. He's saying that he will do a free tattoo.
Oh, let's not get ahead of us.
He'll do a free tattoo for.
That's how I read it.
I ain't doing it.
He said, "I'll do that tattoo for free." Yeah,
I appreciate the gesture.
Okay, and with that, Q, talk to us about our sponsor.
Oh man, you're gonna make me read the sponsor before I get to get this off. Okay. That's nasty work. All right. Football is back. We're back to seeing Mahomes sling beautiful balls all over the field. And your friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long with Manscaped's state-of-the-art tech. We will have your weapon looking more loaded than the AFC North. We're changing that. Football may be rough, but your balls care doesn't have to be rough either. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and get your 20% off and free shipping with the code AFC North Talk. Again, code AFC North Talk. Make sure code AFC North Talk, no spaces. AFC North Talk, all caps. It works internationally, doesn't it, Sonny?
Yep, it does. I have used it here.
Code AFC North Talk. Meet the best valued bundle yet. Manscaped's Pocket Rockets. We got the Platinum Package at QB, the Lawnmower 4.0, a wily vet who makes sure his unit is running smooth and scoring nonstop with proprietary advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower limits mistakes and protects the ball. Plus, it's waterproof. At running back, the Weed Whacker. At offensive line, we have unsung heroes, the Crop Preserver, a ball deodorant, Crop Reviver, ball toner, Trent Williams and Corey Lindsey. It's the Trent Williams and Corey Linsley of sack protection, standing strong here. Again, this has got to be a Super Bowl winning roster here at the Manscaped Ball Care team. Don't take my word for it. Again, go to manscaped.com, get 20% off with free shipping. You hear that? Free shipping? I don't pass up nothing that's free. So you better not pass up. If you want that free, the code is AFC North Talk, no spaces, all caps, AFC North Talk. Again, AFC North Talk, because you might need some new briefs after what your team does or what your team might do in the next few weeks. But make sure you join that. And thank you, Manscaped, for tuning your player into the MVP.
Can I, by the way, well done, Q. And can I just, I don't want to preview something too far in advance, but I think we can tell right now that Thursday game between the Steelers and Browns is going to be the ugliest football game ever played. I mean, it is going to be a horrendous football game, and I can't wait.
You know what?
Sonny, you're muted again.
Shout out to our big Patreon supporter, Adam Holland. He's in the top tier. Big shout out to Adam Holland. Thank you for supporting the content. Also, we are presented, not only we are sponsored by Manscaped, we're presented by True Classic. Great shirts, great product. We'll talk to them. We'll talk to you about that in the next show. But go description below, True Classic. We are presented by them.
Yep. Discount code and everything's in the description.
Yes. Q. Talk to me about this Browns game.
All right, let's get the elephant in the room out the way. Baker Mayfield. Now, for all summer, y'all been asking me, Quincy, are you afraid of Baker Mayfield? What's been my answer all summer? Wait, anybody care to remember what my answer's been all summer about that?
Baker will do Baker things.
He's Baker Mayfield. Has anybody ever been afraid of Baker Mayfield? He's gonna be Baker Mayfield. And what was he in this game? He was so Baker Mayfield in this game. Oh, I got this chip on my shoulder, right? This is the annoying thing, and I'm just so glad we don't have to deal with it, right? He comes in with all the chip on his shoulder energy all summer, right? And then the game starts, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm not going to give any energy. I'm not going to feed into the frenzy. I'm going to try to downplay it now after you spent the whole summer hyping it up. Talking about some revenge and all this shit, and you're gonna F the Browns up, all that fun stuff came out, and I mean, my goodness, up until that last drive in the second quarter, I don't think they had positive yards on offense. I know for a fact they didn't get a first down until the second quarter, like a actual first down that wasn't a penalty. So yeah, Baker Mayfield. Somebody told you that he might have a problem with this defense. Now, this defense had its own problems. Blown coverage 3 times in the fourth quarter. Not cool, but it's kind of unfortunate, right? The 3 times you blow a coverage the entire game, they just hit it, right? Like that just happens sometimes. You're just unfortunate there. And then weird first week Brown stuff always happens to this team. But yeah, there's not much to talk about defensively. Myles Garrett was really good. That's not a surprise to anybody. The defense outside of a handful of plays, excellent. Really good. I mean, if they can be more consistent, lock in and get some of these kinks knocked out, that looked like a really good defense. Now, it's hard to tell because, again, they had the ultimate advantage going up against a quarterback that they were extremely familiar with in Baker Mayfield, which turned out to be a benefit for the Browns defense because how many block passes did they get? 5?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
One of the things that they're going to miss about Baker the most is his ability to fumble in the pocket. As soon as somebody comes sometimes close, his ball starts getting loose, and then
he muffed a snap in this game.
I know.
Well, he muffed 4 snaps.
Yeah.
Oh, 4?
Yeah,
yes.
Not only one. There were a couple.
Yeah, there were 4 or 5. He muffed 4 of them, and then he got a strip sack. Miles almost got a strip sack. Well, he got a strip sack because he fumbled. So he fumbled 5 times. He fumbled 5 times in this game, had 5 batted passes, an interception. People are trying to tell me he played good in this game. Come on. But yeah, it was the quintessential Baker Mayfield game. He got some layups that he made at the end of the game because the defense made some poor decisions, and good on him. He made the open breakaway free fast break layup. But that ain't fooling nobody into thinking he was balling. But unless you want to believe it. But yeah, that's the Baker Mayfield side of this. Good riddance. Hopefully he beats the Steelers. Hopefully he beats the Ravens. Hopefully he beats the Bengals again. But other than that, I could give a damn less about no damn Baker Mayfield no more. Don't got to talk about it. All right, let's talk about the Browns now, okay? Browns offense. This is interesting. You know, people are being really critical of this Browns offense, and I would just like to put in perspective. They put up 26 points, and they left like 14 easy ones on the board there. I don't think anybody was thinking the Browns could have the potential to score 40 points coming into this game. So that I do think was a better offensive performance than what we were expecting coming from this team. It was not pretty. There were a lot of field goals that they had to squeak out, I believe 12 points on field goals. But what I did like about this offense was starting in the second quarter, the late part of it, they started to at least answer back with some long drives and getting points out of those drives. This is the exact type of football the Cleveland Browns are going to have to play if they want to squeeze out these 6 wins, right? This is going to be a squeeze it out type of team. Now, I think Jacoby was a little bit better than, well, I don't know if he was better than, I don't want to say that because he did miss some egregious throws, but I think Jacoby was fine. I would say he's fine, but I think the sum of his parts are so much better that it's going to elevate him by default, because it's one thing when the run blocking from the offensive line is this good. Tony, Sonny, I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch David Njoku block in that game. He's a better blocker than he is a receiver now.
And I was surprised.
Yeah, he is. Wow. He is like, he had a George Kittle like game as a blocker. And I don't know what Pro Football Focus graded. They probably graded it terrible because they're not.
No, it's, and once again, you want to talk about non-serious website.
But yeah, David Njoku as the fullback there, and they ran a lot of 21 and 22 personnel, so 2 running backs in the backfield at the same time, and that was useful, right? The run game was unstoppable. Nick Chubb looks quicker than I've ever seen him, looks stronger than I've ever seen him. He looks like he's primed for a big year here if he could stay healthy. Again, he looked like the best I've ever seen him, and Kareem Hunt looked pretty good too. And I think Amari Cooper was really good in this game. The stats aren't going to show it. I think he only had like a couple receptions, had the one big one at the end of the game, but he was really getting open. Some missed layups there by Jacoby Brissett really hampered his day statistically. But overall, 26 points off this offense. You got 7 of those points off turnover, so 21 points from this offense. I was predicting 21-10 for this game. So this is about what I expected from the offense. I think it'll get better. It'll be worse some games, right? But that's going to be about what it's going to be for this offense, and I think it's about that expectation right now. Let's talk about – is that it for talk about? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the end of this game.
York.
Now –
I'm expecting your York take.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the end of this game, right? So, Panther fans, I mean, like, they Baker Mayfield, I'll say this about Baker Mayfield. I'll give him his flowers. He might be he's really good at almost winning football games. I'll say that about Baker Mayfield. He is the king of almost winning football games. He's almost won a lot of games in Cleveland, and they're hanging on to that. And look, were there some rough bounces here for the Panthers in this last drive? Yeah. That roughing call, I'm tired of people complaining about the roughing call, because you can say it's not roughing. If you zoom out in that play, Donovan Peoples-Jones gets suplex by whatever corner was trying to guard him well after the whistle was blown. There was going to be 15 yards of penalties.
The refs were terrible in that game. They called I believe they called the Browns for like a landing on Baker penalty that got.
Yeah, when the guy clearly rolled off of him, Taven Bryan in the end zone.
It's a bad call, but the refs were bad in that game, period. Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah,
it was week 1 referee stuff, right? They picked up some flags that they shouldn't have. The spike thing, never do that again. You know what I mean? There were some never do that again things that Jacoby Brissett did, that spike thing. And then I ain't forget this. That man threw across his body in the red zone while he was getting hit. And it would have been one of the most egregious interceptions you had ever seen if it weren't for one of the most egregious pass interferences that you have ever seen. So, again, he did get bailed out, but that's kind of what it's going to take, right? You're kind of going to have to get lucky some weeks to win these games. You hope you could beat teams like the Jets. You hope you can win a Thursday night game at home. And not have to get lucky, but sometimes you're going to have to get lucky. Today, you had to get lucky because the defense just fell asleep for a quarter. It really shouldn't have been a close game. It really, really shouldn't. There were a couple of weird plays, the Christian McCaffrey picking up the fumble and getting 20 yards on that. I don't know what you do about that. The 3rd and 7, that one pissed me off, where they just did a draw on 3rd and 7 and he got it. Just some stuff that you did not like to see out there. But again, What do good teams do? How many times do we talk about, oh, the Steelers shouldn't have won that game? It's BS. But they come out and they do what they got to do to win the game. They don't panic in those moments. That's what I saw out of this Browns team. You didn't see a bunch of woe is me. Oh, we're still the Browns on that sideline like we will have in previous years once the Panthers took that lead. We just saw a bunch of dudes like, hey, man, we got a minute 20. Let's see what can happen. And then they get to the 40. They kick a 58-yard field goal, and that was one of the prettiest field goals I'd ever seen. It curved in there, and it smacked the top of the net. I was like, wow, that was like a golfer hitting a nice drive. It was like, wow, that was a beauty.
I thought it was gonna miss, and then
it curved, and it just went straight. And then you saw it just hit the back of the net. Like that was an extra point almost. Like, yeah. So the leg talent for that kid is crazy. We'll see how consistent he could be. But that incredibly high pressure. I mean, could you imagine your first game in the NFL on the road, and they're like, "Hey, man, here's a 58-yard field goal with 8 seconds left to win the game." That was a crazy situation for Cade. Good for him. Great for him to come through there. But this is what the Browns are going to have to do. They're going to have to find ways to win, right? And this is the annoying thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers and why I refuse to call them dead until I'm at their funeral is because what happened on Sunday? A team that had no business winning that game from a before the game standpoint, matchup wise, and even during the game, right? They just found a way to get breaks here and there, right? Bad call here. Missed extra point, or you just make a play on special teams there, and they find a way to squeeze out a victory from what seemed like the jaws of defeat. And that's what the Browns are going to have to do. That's what teams like the Browns are going to have to do, and that's the kind of team the Browns are going to be for 11 weeks. What I do think this is going to open people's eyes to is people are going to watch this. I think people watch that defense in the first half and were like, oh, yeah, Deshaun Watson's on this team. This is actually going to be a problem for some people as far as playing against, because I think people have been kind of, I get it. People don't like him personally, so they allow that to kind of affect how they feel about his play on the field, but that's going to be something. That's going to be something to watch. But, yeah, this is a good team. I think the defense has all the potential in the world. They got to be more disciplined when they're up by 10 because this always happens with them. But good victory. I want to see them be even kill. I want to see them. They got to get. It's hard for me to go victory woo right now because I'm after it and I'm like, hey, we really need to get these next 3 games. You know what I mean?
At least 2 more. I said at least 2 more.
I want all of them. You know what I mean? Like I want all of them. Like the Pittsburgh game could be a toss up, but Thursday night at home, I want that. Right? Like you got to get those kind of situations. Even though it's going to be tough. Pittsburgh's a good defense, but they're not going to have TJ Watt more than likely. So we'll see what happens there. But again, you got to get these wins. You got to get if you get to 4, you feel good about your chance to keep the season alive for whenever Deshaun is ready to come back. But it's almost like it's clinch butt cheeks time. This is why I was telling people in the chat, your butt cheeks are going to be clenched watching the Cleveland Browns if you have any vested interest, because these aren't going to be blowouts. These are going to, like next week, I know I made all them Jets jokes. That game's not going to be above a 14-point margin, right? It's going to be clinch butt cheeks at some point in the fourth quarter there for this team, whether it's to put the game away or anything. This is just what it's going to be. I mean, the Steelers know this too. This is kind of the vibe they're on. If they want to win games,
we live this. We listen. Yeah. You're new to this life, okay? We live here. I mean,
they've been clinching them butt cheeks for like 3 years.
Living here for years.
You know what I mean? But we live in
all the cool spots around town.
Yeah, we out here living that life. By the way, David Njoku might be in that neighborhood with George Kittle as a blocker.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's not looking good for my yards over that. But as a blocker,
wow.
I mean, who's a better blocker, Mark Andrews or David Njoku? I think it's David.
We'll see. It's a game. Okay, we have a couple.
They don't got Mark Andrews out there running fullback out there.
We had him before.
Out here scraping the line, come up. I'm just saying, I ain't never seen Mark do that like that. You know, I saw David.
He has. Anyway, Pittsburgh got that black Air Force One energy. They'll come back down.
This just in breaking news to AFC North Talk. Bengals fans think the Steelers aren't going to be good this year. Well, I appreciate you writing that in and letting us know. I didn't think. As of 48 hours ago, I'm pretty sure you didn't think the exact same thing. It just so happens that your Bengals lost to that team you don't think is very good. So a team that's not very good went to Cincinnati and beat Joe Burrow and your Bengals, your Super Bowl bound Bengals in week 1. Yeah. They'll come back down. Cool. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That was one of the stupidest proof of evidence I've ever seen for people being mad at Jedrick Wills because he's blocking on a hatchback screen.
Yeah, somebody saw him. You know how split screens are, where you use a slip screen where you just let them go through. Someone like Jedrick Wills' laziness is driving me crazy. I'm like,
no, but that's a play.
That's a play. Yeah. I think he kind of messed up because he kind of blocked too long, to be honest with you. Like he took too much time to block, but I think he saw the play broke down behind him, so he just started blocking. But I don't know, man. People are so weird about Jedrick Wills for a dude who's been like pretty good. It's the Joe Thomas thing. He has that Joe Thomas shadow over him, and if he's not Joe Thomas, people are gonna try to like act all weird about it. Joe Thomas is gone. He's fine. Like, shut up about Jedrick Wills already. He's good.
If not for 2 broken coverage, Baker would have 110 passing yards. That's ridiculously bad.
Even with the 235 passing yards, does it justify the 4 fumbles and interception? The 5 fumbles?
I mean, listen, no. Don't listen. If we take away the 2 worst plays of our defense, our defense was. Yeah.
He can have those plays. He got 2 touchdowns.
No, you can't have those plays, Q. You can't have those plays.
No, I'm not saying he can have them as in like we'll give them to him. I'm saying he can have credit for those plays. He made them at the end of the day. But I mean, nobody was watching Baker Mayfield play quarterback on Sunday and being like, "Damn, I should have traded for him."
No, but it's the word. Go ahead. Well, I'll talk about this when we talk about the game.
Baker reaction before and after the your kick should be a meme. You could see him smile. He's going to miss it.
Yeah, well, he was like,
well, I mean, he has a vested interest to hold.
Yeah, that's why I think this is the funniest outcome for Baker is because he did enough to win the game. Like he actually got his revenge, and at the end of the day, it was not about him.
You know what happened? LOL Browns happened to him. He took the LOL Browns with them, right? You did everything you needed to prove and have your victory lap, except for the victory. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's
incredible. Incredible that he played so well at the end. I mean, look, he hit those 2 passes he made. I mean,
at the 4th quarter, we ain't never seen him have a 4th quarter like that outside of Cincinnati. Ain't never seen him have a 4th quarter like that. Because even when he's had those moments where they're blown coverage and he can make a throw, sometimes he overthrows it. So he does get credit for making those throws. But it was just wow, man. Wow.
Hunt and Njoku lined up at fullback will be ridiculous.
They did do some of that Kareem Hunt at fullback, and it did actually work.
I like
Stefanski.
Ken Stefanski explanation on why he didn't attempt a long field goal to get the kicker comfortable. Any other Brown coach in the past throw him to the fire.
Yeah, Kevin's a good coach. I think we're figuring that out.
And then we have Brissett need praise for getting them into position for that field goal.
Yeah, Brissett has this.
And about 1 minute left in the game.
Yeah, Brissett has this weird thing of I think I told you guys he's like oddly clutch where like he'll drive you crazy for like 2 plays and then miss a layup, but then he'll make a real tough 3rd and 7 throw. And that's pretty much the game that he had there. Missed 2 big layups, but then like made some clutch throws to Anthony Schwartz, made a real tight throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Again, it's not impressive. It's not Justin Herbert, right? Like it's not going to be like the most impressive stuff you've ever seen. But in those moments where you did need a throw, where you did need a play to be made, he did make those plays in that moment. And look, I ain't asked you to say Jacoby Brissett's the greatest quarterback of all time, but he did do a good job at that last drive.
Shout out to Bobby Roberts. I cannot see anything that you wrote, but shout out to you. Thank you for the donation.
I think his chat is like 3 down from that super chat. I think.
No, it was another Bobby that I saw.
No, was it different? Okay. Well, Bobby, if you want to leave a chat, we'll read it on there.
Yeah. Test on Najee came back negative, and he might even play this week.
Yeah.
Good Seemed Lord, like that what was going to do if he couldn't.
I like this kid Jalen Warren a lot, though. I will say that
he looked good.
He's very good.
In late in late, but to watch on tape delay, but York. Also, us Browns fans trust in Chubb and Garrett. They will lead us to greatness.
It's kind of funny that like Nick Chubb had 141 yards and it's barely like talked about in this game. Had a ridiculous game, but it's like we kind of just take these things for granted from Nick Chubb at this point.
Yeah, calling it now. Bengals bounce back around the Cowboys. Well, yeah.
I mean,
we'll talk about that next week.
I mean, it's Cooper Rush, so
yeah.
If they lose the Cooper Rush, then
then panic.
It's gonna be a nasty day on this app.
Yeah,
yeah. That, I mean, like, Baker was, I think, the danger because like it was possible for him to have the kind of game that that could have beaten the Browns, and he nearly did, right? But I don't know. I mean, I come away from this game. It's like, do you come away impressed from what the Browns did? I don't know. The thing that bothers me, and this is something I talk about with the Steelers all the time, right? Which is, you got to keep a lid on it. The Browns have to play this kind of nasty, ugly style of football. We've talked about this all off season because of the suspension. And so when you're up 23-7 or 21-7, whatever the score was, 23-7, 21-7, whatever the score was, you can't let them have the easy ones at the end. And it's like I know. At the end of the day, when you're playing this style of football, Q's right. You're gonna be results oriented. You're not gonna be process oriented because at the end of the day, like you're not a good football team. You got to win games in ugly ways, in ways you shouldn't be able to win. And the question is, can you win the variance that's gonna come, right? I mean, you're gonna have these kind of one-score games, and in one-score games, analytics and would tell you, variance would tell you, you're gonna probably win about 50-50 because the ball is gonna bounce different ways and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, I felt like in this game, like Q said, they really could have got out to even bigger lead. They had to kick 2 field goals in the red zone. And again, it's one of those things where, that's going to happen for bad football teams. I probably come away from Jacoby in this game with more pluses than minuses. I thought 8 of 18 on third down was fine. I mean, you're close to 50%. That's all you can hope for with a guy like Jacoby. I do think, though, the amount of credit we're giving him for that last drive it's maybe a little much for my liking. It's like the amount of charity we're giving him for like one throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones over the middle is like, it was a good throw, but they did get, it was a 35-yard drive and 15 of it came on penalty. So I'm not going to take it away from him. But at the end of the day, am I ready to say here that like Jacoby Brissett's a clutch quarterback who I think can drive this team down in big game situations? Like, no, I think that was a good drive and a good play. But at the end of the day, I probably still have question marks because there's those 2 drives before where they couldn't convert and big plays. In fact, you can make an argument, and I'll say this when we get to the Steelers. Baker should have never got the ball back. I mean, they had that third down that Jacoby didn't convert, where he tried to hit the guy in the flat, but short of the sticks, and they gave the ball back to Baker, and then Baker went down. Those are the moments in these games, right? We talk about how do you win like this? Well, you got to limit the opposing team's chances. Keep the ball. I think that's what Ben did great last year. Was that even though Ben was crap, you needed a third down to run the clock out late, and you would get it. And again, that's why I don't want to kill Jacoby today because it's one game. But I
feel like that's an expectation you have for like a quarterback that you actually want to start the whole year. You know what I mean? Like this is basically winning a game with your backup quarterback. And I don't know. What's the standard that we're judging Jacoby Brissett on? That's the only thing that I'm trying to figure out right now because like it's somewhere in between what you're used to expecting because it's like, I get it. People are used to the measurement that we have for Baker, but that's just not what they're expecting him to be at all. And I get that he had those 2 possessions where he didn't, but again, I don't blame much of that. Like if the Browns would have lost that game and never got the ball back, I don't think the blame goes on Brissett. It goes on the defense for allowing that to happen.
That's right. I'm more worried about the defense because they cannot let. I mean, the defense letting those two big plays happen.
Yeah, they can't have miscommunication and palms coverage in the fourth quarter like that, right? Like there's no way that Greg Newsome can just sit there and both of them go chase after the same guy and not know that something's up. Like that's the stuff that they can't afford to do because they can't give up big plays. They're not going to live like that. They almost died because of that, right? In this game.
My biggest problem with the big plays, I don't know about you guys, but if it happens through the first 3 quarters, even if you're winning big, it's one thing. But in the fourth quarter, this is what the Ravens did. They said, you can have some short completions. If you want to burn the clock, just shorter completions.
And the thing I worry about with that, to add to Tony's point, is this has happened before with them where they get up 10 points and then like they get loosey-goosey with they're not focused on what the coverage rules are, right? Like this happens. I mean, this you could just turn on the Chargers game last year. That was a textbook example of teams just losing coverage rules. So yeah, that's a concern. Obviously, like you're not walking out this free of concern. There's a reason I'm not like over the moon talking about we're gonna beat the Jets by 40 or something like that. There's some good. There's a lot of good. I think MJ Emerson, that's somebody I ain't talking about. He's going to be pretty good. But you know, they got to figure out why is it when they go up 10 points? What is it? Mental focus? Is it the coverages that they're in? Is it that they go away or get too safe? I don't even think it's too safe because they were in palms one high, right? Like that wasn't that's not like a safe coverage. You know, you're trying to stop everything underneath there. So again, I'm trying to figure out why that keeps happening. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that something just broke down in communication because stuff like that happens in week one, quite frankly. You know, that's how Bateman got open, right? Was that the big touchdown to Bateman? That's exactly how he got it. Stuff like that happens. But again, we're talking about that happening to the Jets, not like a team that has any expectations. So yeah, there's that concern. I just with Jacoby, I'm in this weird place where like I don't think I was giving him too much praise for that drive. I'm just saying like we've been in that situation. The Browns have been in that situation where they just did not get those plays to get to the field goal because there's been an interception thrown. I'm not trying to put this on one quarterback, but I think we're overrating how easy it was to do what Jacoby did in that moment with no timeouts. I'm not saying he was Tom Brady in that, but what he did was it wasn't like getting the ball to the 5 or something like that. That would have been much more.
How much credit do you give Trubisky for the comeback the Steelers or like for you know the Steelers winning that game?
A lot, and that's why.
Really? No, you do not.
Listen. Well, we'll talk about this later, but I'm baffled at in overtime. No Watt, no Najee,
and Cam went down too. And
And
Levi Wallace left that game.
And Liao, yeah. So we'll talk about that later.
And again, it's like most of the credit's going to go to K. York because he did the difficult thing, which was make the 58-yard field goal. Like the more difficult thing. I think we all are in agreement to that. Like K. York's the hero of this game. We're not walking away. Jacoby Brissett won it for the Browns. No, we're saying Jacoby Brissett had a part in it. And I think there's I don't know, from what I've seen at least from my media diet, I haven't seen anybody even acknowledge that.
Yeah, I mean,
right, but see, okay, but here's the point I'm making, right? Which is against the Bengals, right? You know, we can the Steelers were, I mean, the craziness that needed to happen in order for Trubisky to get that final chance was absurd. But Trubisky had 1,000 chances before that to put this game away. I mean, the Steelers stopped the Bengals on the goal line and got the ball with 1:40, and all they needed was one first down, and that is game over, right? And it's the same, and that's why I go. You know,
the Browns weren't in that situation, though.
What's that?
The Browns weren't in that situation, though. I think Jacoby did what he needed to do, though.
They had the 6-minute drill. They had a 2 minutes.
Yeah, they had that one drive, but again, like I think that's ignoring the fact they got up to 23-10 or something like that. The offense did its job at that point. Like I just they didn't get that one drive, but like I'm not going to penalize him for that when he answered back. I mean, it wasn't touchdowns, it was field goals. It's not great. But he at least answered back on 3 long drives right after 2 scores from there. So, and then he got the one drive at the end of the second half. So I think I could forgive him for the one miscue on that drive where he just didn't get it, given that he's not a franchise quarterback. If this were Deshaun Watson out there, the skeptics, like you're going to have to be critical.
We're talking about a different thing then.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But when it's Jacoby Brissett, I feel like what you got out of him, that's what you should have expected out of him. I think he just played up the expectation there.
I will say this to seal this argument here. I think he played good enough to get a W. I remember Brissett as a better QB than what I saw. I don't know if that's what you're alluding to, Tony, but I remember him playing better with Indy when what I saw him against Carolina. But I wouldn't say. I don't think Q at least was giving him too much credit for the last drive. I think, you know, what they had to do is what they did, right? Let's lean heavily on Chubb and Hunt, which they were monsters, both of them. Both of them were monsters. That O-line was pushing the guys, but there was holes being open, and the running backs were attacking the holes. They were getting to the second level, and that's what they need to do. And then from there, what you want Jacoby is, okay, we're gonna establish the run, which will lead to easier throws for you. Don't F it up, right? And he didn't F it up. So, Ace, do you have any thoughts about this game?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Had to step
That's okay.
away
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
for.
Uh-oh.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah, I think his connection is.
Yeah. Ace.
I'll text him.
Ace. Yeah, we can't hear anything.
What's up with the new office?
I'll take him off for now.
Yeah, he may need to go airplane mode and then off again or to reconnect or something.
Yeah.
That's tough.
We'll get back to him later.
He's got to. I don't know if you saw his message in chat. He's got to run soon too. So.
Oh man. So, Ace, if you can, Ace, call us and we'll feed you through the line. We'll feed you through the line, and we'll go from there. Okay. Oh, hold on. Ace, are you better now? Hello, Ace?
Ace, you back?
You're muted, Q.
This is fun.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Sonny, somebody change this situation.
Oh, okay. My bad.
In the process of moving right now, so a lot of people are like, is there a new office or whatever? This is going to be the new house. This actually isn't the new office. I'm trying to get new furniture and stuff, so just bear with me while I get through this. Appreciate that. But I think that the Browns took care of business, man. I mean, they went out, did what they needed to do. They just need to win at this point and win as many games as they can with Jacoby Brissett by running the ball, which they did, playing great defense, which they did, and just making sure that they come out with victories. Now, K. York, you talk about the importance of a kicker. Q, I know it feels good now. Well, I'm not going to jinx it yet, but it feels good to not have to think, like, is this dude going to muff this kick or is he going to go wide left? It feels better when
I pass the torch to you. I expect you to hold my anti-kicker agenda down until K. York misses something big. You know what I mean? Then I'm going to pick that thing right back up. Keep it warm for me.
But those things matter. You talked about the 12 points. That's a difference maker. So, the Browns went out, took care of business, did what they needed to do. And it doesn't matter how they win. They just have to win. And I think that that's the goal for them. We talked about Jacoby Brissett. I thought that he was a guy that could win 50% of the games for them. I think that this proves that they could do that. And with that, the early ones, like Quincy talked about earlier, the better matchups for them, they have to get those wins. So I think that they did a great job in terms of what they did this weekend.
Okay, and then Ace, because I know you have to leave soon. Let's go straight to Steelers, Bengals, and then Tony. I know you want to go first and flex.
No.
Ace
Tony wants to go last.
I'll stick around for Tony's rebuttal, but one thing I'll say is this: I won't take anything away from the Steelers. I won't make any excuses for the Bengals. The Steelers came out, they punched the Bengals in the mouth. They played mistake-free football. I love what they did with their scheme defensively, limiting what we could do offensively. They really killed us. I mean, you just got to take your hat off to TJ Watt. Dude just went crazy that entire game, got an interception. I mean, all of their three guys came out and balled. You talk about Minka, he set the tone with the pick six. You talk about Cam Hayward, who was wreaking havoc in the backfield, got him a sack as well. I mean, it was a Cam Hayward sack, Minka Fitzpatrick pick six, and I believe it may have been after that the TJ Watt interception. But those guys came to play. They came out with confidence. Tomlin, you can call Tomlin whatever you want. He's a hell of a coach. I mean, when the dude came out and gave these guys black Air Forces, I'm not going to lie, I was like, oh, man, here we go. It's going to be one of those games. And they came out, they did their thing. And even through adversity, when things went with missed field goals and things of that nature, they held their own. One guy that's not being talked about, which somebody just mentioned in the chat, Alex Highsmith had a hell of a game. He beat the hell out of Jonah Williams in this game. And that showed a lot is not being talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. I critiqued them going into this game, thought that they would put up a pitiful performance, even tweeted out, hey, how many sacks is Trey Hendrickson going to get in this game? We ended up, I think the only sack that we got was not even a true sack. It was a guy, Mitch, running out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. And I think that even though their offensive line from a run blocking standpoint isn't going to get the credit or wasn't really good, but honestly, the Bengals are a good run defense, so I don't think that even holds weight here. They did have a hell of a job in the pass blocking department for their team. As far as the Bengals, have to hold everybody accountable. Joe Burrow comes out and throws 4 interceptions. You cannot have that many turnovers and expect to win any football game. I don't care if it's against a college football team. You cannot go out and throw 4 or have 4 turnovers in the game. We talk about the turnovers from a totality aspect. Those were mistakes. You talk about Zach Taylor and the offensive coaching staff being just completely outcoached by Tomlin, making several mistakes, not doing challenges, not managing the clock effectively. You know, when you have your long snapper going out on 3rd down, why are you kicking a field goal with the guy who's never been your long snapper? I mean, we can talk about the loss of Clark Harris and all of that, but Zach Taylor still knew the situation and put them in that situation to go out and mess up that situation again. But the Bengals, you know, it's week 1. It was tough. I'm not going to blame it on the preseason or the lack of plan in the preseason or anything like that. They shouldn't have come out that slow. The big, I think, positive out of this game was Jamar Chase. When T. Higgins went down and went out with a concussion, when Tyler Boyd went down, he really stepped up, and I really feel like they should have gone to him even more because that was the only guy that seemed to be able to get something going against the Steelers, no matter who was there. The kid's a special talent. I'm excited to see what he can do, but they gotta bounce back next week. I mean, every game isn't going to be a gimme. You go into this against the Steelers, they're still a good team. This is still AFC North football. Got to be able to come back and bounce back, and I think that they will. But got to give kudos to the Steelers. Shout out to them, Steelers Nation. Tony deserves to have this victory lap. I'm not going to keep him from that at all. But shout out to the Steelers. They did their thing. My voice is dead because of that roller coaster ride at Paycor Stadium. But shout out to them, man. They got the dub.
Okay, we have 3 super chats here, and then I'll go with Tony. So Ace, you can hear Tony, and then I know you have to go. Ace and Tony both lost their voice yesterday.
Did you watch the game?
Big super chat.
We still had voices today. Any Steeler or Bengals fan who still has their voice today isn't a real fan.
Someone walking out the game said, "Hey, at least we got a free extra hour of NFL football."
That's how
I could have done with that game being over in regulation.
The reason why I said that he needs some praise for the last drive is because all I've seen all of season from sports media was that Brissett stinks. And it's the worst starting QB in the NFL, and they need to get another quarterback.
Well, the thing that I took issue with Jacoby Brissett and some of the narrative around it was like, I feel like he's qualified to be in the role that he's in. And I feel like there's been a rush of people like he's not qualified to be in the role he's in. His numbers would indicate if you wanted somebody to be a long-term backup / kind of you need an in-between guy, he's in that echelon of quarterbacks that, you know, he's qualified to do that job. And I felt like the second he got that opportunity, people came out the woodwork to be like, let's trade for this guy, and that guy, so he doesn't get an opportunity. And I felt like some of this was unfair to what he had already done. Like, not saying, again, he's not a super accomplished quarterback, but he's accomplished enough to where, like, y'all knew he was going to be the dude that was going to be in there if Watson wasn't in there. Like, this is not wavered with the front office, and yet people were obsessed with trying to find a replacement. And I kind of emphasize with it. I'm empathetic with him on that level of like, man, like, dog, you get the one opportunity and everybody's like, we got to get you out the paint. Like, that's where I felt like we were kind of some people were needlessly cruel in their overt pursuit of Jimmy Garoppolo, who can't even play right away.
So my man is assassin the O-line. My girl IUD gives him more protection than that. Thought it was kind of funny. And I lost the super chat. Where is it?
Is it Corey?
Corey, yes, thank you. -5 point differential. Worst game of Burrow's career. -5 turnover differential. I'm assuming he meant set. Injury, long snapper, at least to miss extra point.
Wrong.
Field goal. If I'm a Steelers fan, I'm concerned about the
Why would they
dub.
be concerned
I'm
about
concerned about the club.
The dub.
Why?
The dub.
Why?
Dub? The
Oh,
W.
concerned. Oh, yeah. I'm over here just shaking in my boots. The Steelers just beat
Go
the
ahead,
Bengals
Tony. For you.
in Cincinnati. Yeah, I can't. I'm sitting over here just like I'm so worried about the Steelers being 1-0, being 1-0 right now. Listen, I'm sorry, Bengals fans, but this is what regression looks like. And I know Bengals fans are in denial. I have listened to, you guys know me, I listen to a lot of Bengals fans. Now, I will say this. There aren't a lot of Bengals podcasts out there who have published an episode today. I mean, these guys are quieter than Logan Wilson and Jesse Bates were yesterday, but there have been a couple of you. Okay. And I definitely gave myself a listen. I mean, I swear to God, I swear to Christ, these guys, I mean, it's not even a podcast as much as it is a self-therapy session for these Bengals fans as they try to talk themselves into the idea. No, but we're still better than the Steelers. Yeah. I mean, I know we lost, but we're still better than them. We're still better. The Bengals are still better. If you really think the Bengals aren't as good as the Steelers, well, I don't know what to tell you. Well, guess what? The scoreboard said 23-20 at the end of it, my dudes. Okay. And your dog, Joe Burrow, started the game with sack, pick 6. Okay. So I don't want to hear it. Okay. Joe Burrow, by the way, who we could talk about the offensive line and how bad it was. Look, I didn't even think the offensive line for Cincinnati honestly played that poorly. Joe Burrow did this to himself. How many of his interceptions came under pressure? Just 1. 3 of those interceptions were straight up on Joe Burrow. And I said this to start the show. Mike Tomlin, what a friggin' genius this man is. I mean, put the guy in the Hall of Fame while he's already coaching. The game plan that he schemed up here. Q and I laughed about it on the preview show. Go back and watch. We laughed about it. I said, Q, wouldn't it gets more interesting if the Steelers can stick in too high and stop the run and play this team. And guess what Mike Tomlin did? He said, yo, I don't care about Larry O can't defend the run. I'm going to stick in too high, and I'm going to say, Joe Burrow, go beat me in too high. Go be Joe Checkdown and not Joe Shiesty, okay? And guess what Joe did? Joe said, no. He said, I got 5 nicknames, Tomlin. I got Joe Shiesty. I got Joe Cool. I got Joe Burr. Okay, I got that dude, and I got as many turnovers as I do nicknames. Okay, so that's who Joe Burrow is right now. I got a new nickname for Joe Burrow. It's Joey Regression. This is what regression looks like. Bengals fans, you want to tell me today that was a fluky loss? Well, guess what? I got countless games last year that were fluky wins. This is what regression looks like. Regression looks like you had fluky wins and you regress to the means with fluky losses. Yeah, that can happen too, my dudes. Sometimes you just fluke your way into losing to Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, an offense that, by the way, we talk about this offensive line. This offensive line and run blocking was absolute garbage. Jaylen Warren had more yards after contact than he did total yards. Okay. I mean, credit to the Bengals and their run defense because, yeah, the Steelers couldn't run the ball and then Mitch couldn't do anything offensively. But it just adds to what I think was an unbelievably legendary performance by this defense. If anyone who was watching me on Locked On Steelers, Chris Carter and I get into this argument all the time because, he's very much, hey, the offense has to help the defense be great. And I always say no. Truly great defenses can be great even if your offense is trash. And you know what? On Sunday, even I would have said, boy, this offense needs to give this defense some help. 100 snaps for this defense. 100 snaps for this defense. And they allowed 20 points in regulation. It took Joe Burrow till quite literally the last possible second to finally tie that football game up. And then we want to talk about this snapper. Bengals fans, I mean, again, whatever you got to tell yourself to sleep at night, but if you think it was the long snapper's fault that Minkah Fitzpatrick, the best player on the field, was unblocked for a blocked extra point, I mean, whatever you got to tell yourself, yeah, it was that. And then, let's talk about, Mick Shankerson himself, Shanky Boy over there. Okay, the greatest kicker to ever walk the earth. I mean, my goodness, Shanky Boy, he can't hit it because the laces are in? Oh, it's a 29-yard field goal. This guy's kicking him for friggin' 70. Bengals fans want to tell us all offseason, he's on Tucker's level. He's on Boswell's level. Shanky Boy can't hit a 29-yarder, my dude. I mean, this is to win the game. And Shanky Boy, I mean, he missed the field goal. Shanky Boy missed it by more yards than they actually were kicking it for. I mean, he probably missed it by 50, 29 yards.
That was an incredible shank.
I mean, unbelievable. It was shades of Adam Vinatieri.
What?
I was just saying, I can agree with the Minkah one. That had nothing to do with the long snapper. Minkah made a hell of a play, but on that 29-yard field goal, that snap was high. They did.
It was. But
The snap was high. I'm sorry,
but
did
he
Justin
put
Tucker
it,
never have
yo.
a high snap?
It was high, but laces were in front, but he put it there. And I understand if the guy misses.
I don't know,
right?
dog. It was like an 11-yard field goal. It don't matter what the snap is. If it gets to the ground, it got to get kicked.
Close, and it was
You
so
take a guy that made a 58-yard field goal with the right long snapper when the snap was okay. It didn't make a difference. Is going to miss a 29-yarder?
But the hole was fine.
No, it was, bro. I was at the game. The dude had to reach up like this to get it
That's
and
the
put it back
snap.
down.
That's the snap. But the hole, the guy, whoever the holder is, did a great job on putting it. The laces were in the front, but the ball was positioned well. And again, I would even give him if he misses close. But as Tony just said, that thing was like he wasn't close.
Yeah, no, he missed about 50 yards left. It didn't even hit the net. Okay, it missed the net. I mean, that thing went into like the third. I wonder if, hey, did he sign that ball before because he has a free souvenir before he kicked that bad boy? I mean, my goodness. Shanky boy out there in Cincinnati, best kicker in the division. We're ready after 1 year. This is my favorite thing about Bengals fans. Bengals fans got a great lesson in the levels here. There are good players and there are great players. But to Bengals fans, it all mixes together. Good and great. I don't know the difference. Good and great. See, Jesse Bates, that's a good football player. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, that is greatness. Because Minkah Fitzpatrick, I felt him out there. And we want to talk about, hey, Mitch didn't try down the field. That's why Jesse didn't have a play. I'm sorry, how many plays did it take for Minkah to get a pick six in this football game? 2. It was sack, pick six. So yeah. I mean, Minkah made his presence felt immediately, as did TJ, as did Kim. Again, levels to these things. You want to talk about Logan Wilson? Where was Logan Wilson?
Logan Wilson was all over that game, Tony.
PFF gave my dude.
True now. That's not true now.
No. PFF gave Logan Wilson an 80. PFF gave him. Logan Wilson got absolutely roasted by Jalen.
I thought that name was banned.
He met Najee
Logan
a couple
Wilson.
times.
PFF gave Logan Wilson an 80 coverage grade for giving up 11 yards per catch, 29 yards of yak on a 4-yard average depth of target. I mean, again, but Bengals fans will tell us, hey, that's great. 11 yards of catch is great for my dog, Logan. Yeah, great job out there, Logan. Listen, this Bengals team, again, this is what regression looks like. Now, as we go here, as I said before the year, I expected them to be better. I expected that regression would hit, but on a play-to-play basis, they would be better. But Q hit on this in a video he did on his channel where he said, listen, this might be who Joe is. You know, Joey Playmaker, how does Joey Playmaker act when everyone's going to play him in cover 2 now? Because everyone's going to play cover 2 now. Everyone's going to drop back and say, listen, you're not beating us down the field. It's amazing. It's amazing what this Bengals offense looks like when they can't just queue up the 70-yard rando touchdown, and when they actually got to beat you down the field. Because I know Bengals fans will tell me, "Oh no, Tony, Joey had 350. Joey had 350 in this game. Yeah, on 60 attempts. 60 attempts. He had 6 yards per attempt. That's not good. 6 yards per attempt is not good. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can play more disciplined down the stretch. But I will take nothing away from what my Steelers did. My voice is officially shot. We were at the 2-hour mark. This was a legendary, truly legendary defensive performance by Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward. This was unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, put Mike Tomlin in the Hall of Fame today. Let's not wait till he retires.
Okay. Ace, you want to say anything else before I throw it to Q?
Steelers Super Bowl week 1, officially against the Bengals.
Okay.
Are we gonna do this again? It's the post-Ben era. Okay, this is the post. Ben Roethlisberger retired. All your nightmares are over, right? I mean, my goodness, you guys again. Just pray that Kenny's not any good. I mean, you guys better pray that Kenny's the best you think he is, because this isn't even our final form. Okay, freeze style.
Okay, he's memeing now. He's memeing now.
If Kenny Pickett turns out to be anything close to a good quarterback with this defense, time around the AFC North.
Tony Filipponi in the building.
This isn't even our final form, Q.
Browns better win on Thursday night. I don't even mind it. Who y'all play next week?
By the way,
who the Steelers play next week?
23-20 was the Bengals Super Bowl, was it not? It's a great score for the Bengals to lose by. Very reminiscent.
They play.
Who the Steelers play?
Patriots. Well, we got New England next week.
We'll see how that goes.
I
don't know what to make of that game. To be honest, I have no idea what to make of both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea because Mac Jones look awful.
My fourth,
I got a lot of side eye, by the way. I got a lot of side eye on this show when I said this Steeler defense is going back to top 5.
We'll see.
Are we ready?
We got to see what TJ Watt
We
comes
got to
back.
see what
Well, that's
TJ
true.
Watt.
We got to see what happens with TJ.
The TJ Watt makes a difference.
it's a little bit.
He's kind of a big deal. All right, I'll go. After that,
It's hard to go after
Maybe
that,
we
right?
should have. Maybe we should have had me go last. In retrospect,
there was no holding that in.
Yeah.
There was no.
Yeah.
All right, so, hey, the thing I was saying about Joe Burrow, I think I said this on my Worst Take channel, is the concern I have is when people look at this game, 7 sacks, he had to throw the ball with 53 passing attempts, 7 sacks, 4 interceptions. People will say, Joe's not going to do that again. The thing is, this stuff hasn't happened, I don't know, in all one game, but there's been examples of Joe getting sacked excessively in a game. There's been examples of Joe throwing 4 interceptions in a game. And not saying that this is who he, I didn't mean to characterize it like that, but I am saying, like, they are playing a high variance level of football there, right? With how they go about it with the weapons there in Cincinnati. And sometimes you get 7s and you hit jackpot. And sometimes you have days like today, right? And I think people saying that this is going to be something that's going to be like a once in every few years anomaly, like I've been hearing people talk about it, I think that's a little bit naive here. And I think some of this, and look, I'm not trying to run them out of town yet, but I think some of this is on Zach Taylor. I think this is not a sustainable way to run the offense if Joe Burrow has to throw the ball 53 times. I understand you were down for most of this game, but it wasn't like Pittsburgh was putting up points, right? Like they got 17 points and they pretty much stayed there until like the 4th quarter. So you did not have to throw the ball as much as you did. I mean, Joe Mixon wasn't helping nothing. He had 27 attempts for 82 yards. The offensive line just was an absolute disappointment for the Bengals today or on Sunday. So whatever that is going on there, it has to get figured out. If you upgrade the offensive line personnel and your offensive line play stinks, you have to look at the coaching at that point, right? And again, this is the thing that I've been concerned about with Zach Taylor and the Joe Burrow pairing. I believe Joe Burrow at the end of the day is going to be good enough that you're never going to be a bad team with Joe Burrow, right? You're not going to be under 500. You're going to win 9, 10, 11, some years 12, 14, right? He's that good of a quarterback, in my opinion. I think he's a top 7 guy. But I don't know if Zach Taylor's the dude that needs to be coaching him during that time. And I don't know if they're going to move on from him if they have success because their quarterback is good. Because I see a lot of reliance on Joe Burrow. And again, this game they kind of had to because, yeah, he threw 4 interceptions, but like, what are you going to do? Run the ball more with Joe Mixon right at TJ Watt? Like when TJ Watt's looking like Omega Watt out there, like, it was a rough situation. I get it, but I feel like this is where the Bengals, and I don't want to say, well, I'll say this. I think the Bengals have a bit of a limitation at the coaching side of this thing. We'll see if I'm wrong. I've been wrong about the Bengals before. I'm not shy to that. But I think sometimes their limitations show. Games like this kind of happen, right? I think they need to start thinking about, how do we make Joe Burrow's life easier? Why does he feel like he has to throw these extreme tight window plays to get a play going in this offense, right? He should never throw 4 interceptions. He like Baker Mayfield throws 4 interceptions when he's pressing. Joe Burrow is talented enough, smart enough, and he usually sees the field well enough that this stuff shouldn't happen with him. And I think this is a result of him pressing, him feeling like he has to make a play. And as much as they've got him help in the receiving game, it's still all on the passing game, it feels like, with the Bengals. And Joe Mixon, we talk about Joe Mixon like he's on the same level of running backs as like Dalvin Cook, CMC, like that level of running back. 3 yards per carry on 27 attempts is atrocious. Like, that is atrocious work there. And this is a guy who outside of last year did not have great yards per carry numbers. And I don't think he was 4.5. I think last year he was below 5.
4.1 for him.
4.1. So again, it's not a great average there. They got to get more creative. with how they attack there. I think Pittsburgh being able to attack it too, man, showed that like just a lack of creativity there on offense. It felt like a team that was like, hey, whatever worked in the playoffs last year, we're just gonna roll in and do that same exact thing. And it was a bit of a rude awakening for them, right? I think they kind of thought the upgrades on the offensive line would be enough. They didn't evolve this offense enough. And we'll see if Zach Taylor's that guy to do it, because it's going to be a long season if he's not, because again, this is a really talented conference. It's going to be a lot of tough games here, and Joe Burrow's really good. But I mean, there's so many good quarterbacks in this conference. Patrick Mahomes, we saw what Josh Allen looked like on Thursday, just incredible. Lamar Jackson's out there somewhere. Just, it's going to be a gauntlet for the Bengals. This is the kind of stuff that, it happened last year. We kind of wrote it off as, it's not going to happen that often. It's happened twice now. You got to look at that with some concern and ask yourself, what are the questions? Like is Leo Collins not good? Like, what happened there? Like, wait, is it something in the guard? Like, I don't know who specifically is eating the blame here. But also, it's hard too, because sometimes Cam Hayward just be having them games and he just makes like really good players look bad. Like, it's hard to tell how much of this is, hey, Steelers offensive. It's hard for me to tell how much of this is you're going up against the best interior defensive line in football probably, and you got your interior just was not. This is Tony's favorite, gelled yet, right? Like,
there it is. There it is. Get the gel out, boys.
They just weren't ready for that, right? And maybe that was too much of a challenge, and maybe we underestimated the amount of challenge that was going to be for week one, because that definitely seems like something that was underestimated here. But again, I'm not ringing the alarm bells if I'm the Bengals, but this is not a good loss. I mean, this was not a great situation. Now you're down one division game. You're going to have to get that back somewhere. And Lamar's probably going to be healthy this year. Cleveland's always tough for Cincinnati for whatever reason, and Pittsburgh's already got one up on you. So this is going to be a grind for them, and they made their life way more difficult than it needs to be. I know it's week one, but a division game's a division game. I don't care what week you play it. I
think the best case scenario for the Bengals is that the Steelers have the best defense in football, right? And then you can say, okay, well, hey, best defense in football, 5 turnovers. We can chalk that one up to weird game, right? Fluky game. But I think the problem for Bengals fans, and this is what I go back to the regression thing. I mean, it's not a one game sample size. It's not like, well, that was a weird game. And the offense did not play well in the Super Bowl, especially in the second half. They had long throws and nothing, right? I mean, AFC Championship game, same thing. The whole first half, they just no-showed. The Tennessee game, I mean, again, that was more on the defense. They scored 16 points in that game. And the Raiders, same thing. You got 5 games in a row now where you're thinking, well, what exactly is going on with the Bengals offense that's supposed to be, it is one of the most talented and is supposed to be one of the best.
Yeah.
Tony, I got a question for everybody then. What do you think's up with the Joe Mixon? Like, he's a really talented back, and he showed flashes of being almost a dominant back, but the yards per carry, like the last couple of years, just ain't been impressive with him. I mean, some of the advanced numbers just ain't been impressive with him. And that's always been my kind of holdback with him. Is this a situation where they're just really predictable with how they run him? Because he should be more effective than what he is.
So 9 out of I think it was some crazy percentage. Hold on. Some crazy percentage of his runs were all under center. Anytime the Bengals came out under center, they were running the ball.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
he did do a lot in the passing game. I think he was more of a receiver this game, but bad offensive line play and then pretty much predictable run plays.
I will say this: what Q
like
said. Look, this week 1, the least important game of all 4 of us, it was for the Browns. I know it would have been a meme if they lost. They lost, right? But it's an NFC team. Then it was the Ravens. It will be an AFC team, but not in the division. And then the division game, which obviously is the most important game of the 4. So obviously, like you said, week 1, yes, doesn't matter, but it is not only a tiebreaker in the division, it's also a tiebreaker in the AFC. That being said, what Q and Tony said here about the offense, look, they had a similar game against the Bears last year. And let's assume they have one like that every year. The biggest problem, or at least what I was not expecting, was I thought the team was coming and it was gonna bring a more efficient offense, right? Last year could have been, what I thought was, well, last year, they peaked too early, meaning we thought that was gonna be this year. Well, they were so good so quick. They really didn't know how to put it all together and be efficient because the talent was there, right? And then going to the offseason, upgraded offensive line. I love Hayden Harris. Hayden Harris had a good.
Make sure you use air quotes when you say that. Upgraded offensive line.
Hayden Hurst had a good
They're on the other side of the milk carton from Jesse Bates over there.
Hayden Hurst had a good OT in the OT time. He played good with 2 good catches. So I thought he would be fine just replacing Uzama.
Well, and it's like when you watch them too, they have what's the play call? It's like they run. It's pretty much either they run stick into or in like a 2-minute drill, and that's when they were to move the ball. They run a lot of stick, or they run 4 vert with the under.
Yeah, 989.
989. Yeah, they run 989 to Jamar Chase to like literally right at the hash every time. And it's like at some point, it like Jamar Chase is really good, and you'll get away with it versus a lot of teams because he's really good. But at some point, and it's the same criticism that I've given the Ravens for with Greg Roman, right? At some point, things have to evolve. And what concerns me is that Jamar Chase had that year that he had last year, and they weren't like, let's find new ways to get him the ball. Let's open this up a little bit. They were like, run the same damn plays again. And that's like, that doesn't sound like to me a team that's going to be like, I'm not trying to. He was at the Super Bowl last year as a head coach, so only so much criticism I can give him at this point, week 1. But I think some of these.
Why are you guys so afraid? Why are you guys so afraid to say this might be regression?
No, because I cannot say regression in week 1, but I am surprised. But
because we didn't beat the Bengals, you beat the Bengals, so you of course are high on the.
What I'm saying is.
I'm not trying to be on the Summer Jam screen with
I'll agree it's only 1 week. But if this team was going to regress, that's what it looks like.
Yes.
But that's what people, I think the argument too, I think Bengal fans have internalized it differently than what the actual argument is, which is, hey, you got some favorable bounces last year. That doesn't mean you weren't a good team and you didn't earn the wins that you got, but you did get the benefit of some luck, right? Last year that went your way. I mean, the way that you went through the playoffs up until the championship game. And even then you got to play Matt Stafford, who, I mean, I ain't going to slander Matt Stafford after he won a Super Bowl, but y'all know how I feel.
The man won a Super Bowl. All right.
Yeah. Y'all know how I feel.
RIP Matt Stafford, but he did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did win a Super Bowl. So I guess I can't be slanderous. By the way, Allen Robinson, shout out to you, baby. Shout out. Room reception 15 yards. Yeah,
I was waiting for that.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that receipt. That's legal.
Hey, is Allen Robinson a quarterback killer?
It follows him, don't it? Because Justin Fields, he looked pretty good.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere,
in the rain, right. People talk about Odell killing the offense. It was Allen Robinson all along. I mean, that's why Baker was bad last year. He had Allen Robinson on his mind, but
his mind.
Yeah. Shout out.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Shout out Allen Robinson. Shout out all Allen Robinson fans. Yeah, I'm not turning in that cape no time soon. But yeah, it is the Bengals are in a precarious spot here, man, because they could be a better team than last year. They might win 9 games or 10 games. Like it might not just work out for them. Sometimes that happens. It's happened with every team in this box where just didn't work out. Got the wins, just didn't work out, with tiebreakers or whatever. Lost a critical game early in the year. The Browns did this when they went 10-6 in 2007. Lost the opener to Pittsburgh by 1 million. Couldn't get the game in Hines against them. And then that's what kept them out the playoffs, even though they won 10 games. So, the Bengals, I know it's going to be a tendency. It's week 1 to underplay it. But if this were an NFC opponent, I would allow it. But it's a division game, man. That's going to come back. You don't want to be out here like Baltimore was out here winning 1 out of 6.
Sonny, you were talking about this game, and I do. I mean, like, because this whole regression thing, like, I get it. Maybe I'm a little early here, but like, don't you think if you were a Bengals fan and you listened to an entire offseason of, hey, this team might regress?
Oh yeah, it's on their mind.
I'm saying if you were a Bengals fan,
I agree. No. I agree what you're saying. What you're saying is, Sonny, if you're thinking about regression, this is how regression looks. Yes, I'm just thinking it's one game. My biggest problem with the whole thing. My biggest problem with the whole thing is last year I felt like this offense has so much potential, but they were so inefficient, right? Like you said. That's it. Right? They were very inefficient. But you were thinking this year. So that was last year. So I'm thinking this year, all they did was add to the O-line, right? And a tight end swap between Hurts and Uzama, right? The rest, the three big receivers are there. O-line supposedly got better. Joey B's back healthy. Running back is there. And they're like in the same inefficient effort. Because think let's
53 passing attempts. That's inefficient, right? And I think
that 58 was on. But Q, he threw that many times because he did that to himself. He started with a pick six, and then he just kept turning the ball over. They were down 17-3.
Ton. I'm saying either way, whoever you want to blame it on. The issue with the offense last year was inconsistency and inefficiency. Whatever that's on, they got to figure out why they are so inefficient and inconsistent, because we were thinking, hey, it's an offensive line thing. Maybe in the second year, where a full year was Joe Burrow, this thing turns around. He figures it out. They're going to be a much more efficient unit. They came out of here and played one of the most inconsistent, inefficient games Joe Burrow's probably like this team has ever seen with Joe Burrow. And that's not a long period of time. It's only a year, 9 games, but that's a concern given that this is like when the Browns came out in 2021 and the offense looked like Dookie. You know what I mean? Like in the second game where the offense looked like Dookie, you're like, this is supposed to be fixed, right? Mm-hmm. That's when things are supposed to, like, the whole offseason is about how this is going to be fixed. And then the first game starts and it still looks like an issue. That's where you have to say, maybe these problems weren't just players. Maybe there's something systemic here that's really holding up progress for this team's ability to produce on an efficient and consistent way. And, those are the kind of margins that take you out of it when you're in a conference that's as loaded as the AFC. And that's for every team in here, right? None of us that hope to contend this year have a large margin for error. That's why Tony's so goddamn happy. He don't care about the margin for error this year. He has no expectation. He didn't expect to win this week.
Exactly. And I got all these people in chat. I'm reading chat right now, and they're all Bengals fans saying, oh, the Steelers better not tank this year. They better win 11 games. No, here's the thing. I know exactly who my Steelers are. Okay. I know where this team's probably finishing in the AFC and the
AFC. The Steelers have no business being in the game before the game started, right?
Correct.
I remember what I said on Wednesday. I said the Bengals should win by big. And then I said, but these MFers last year.
Yeah, these Steelers.
Right. I remember I said this MFers came and beat the Bills on the road opening the year. This MFers, we keep telling you they're dead, and they found ways to somehow win the game, and boom. But all I'm saying,
we kind of underestimated the idea that we was giving Mike Tomlin the whole offseason to get ready for this defensively. Like there was a lot of forgetting that we did about, because we were like, TJ Watt, he's just gonna get handled by Leo Collins. Like in hindsight, we did not talk about Cam Hayward's matchup with the interior of this offensive line enough. Clearly,
that one I think. I'll say this about the TJ.
But I think what's the shocking part of this
TJ last year.
Yeah, I think what's the shocking part of this was that we thought the weakness on the Steelers defense and why they weren't going to be the Steelers of old this year. I mean, we knew their offense was going to be the same offense from last year. It wasn't going to be good, right? But we thought the defense was going to have a regression in Pittsburgh because of the cornerbacks, right? We thought that they weren't going to have enough guys out there to cover, and they kind of held up. Jamar Chase had like 129 yards, but like he played 5 quarters, right? So, and there were like 45 attempts. So somebody was going to get that production, but that's the part that like, Either Pittsburgh has a better secondary than we've given them credit for. It could be true. They've held up pretty good in the preseason, better than I expected them to. Or Cincinnati hurting themselves with how they scheming up this passing game because Akilla Witherspoon shouldn't be a part. Shouldn't be the
Put
best
some
corner.
respect on his name. He had
Akilla
unbelievable
Witherspoon should not be the
CB1
best
stats last
corner
year.
on the
Put
team
some
that shuts
respect on his
down
name.
the best wide receiver trio in football. That just shouldn't happen, right? And I don't want to say they shut down, but
You want my game pass login?
limited him to under 21 points. So, that's a problem. That is a problem, right?
Well,
either the Steelers are a problem or they're a problem, right? But there is something.
Look, Tomlin did a good job bracketing guys. I mean, I thought, the addition of Miles Jack and him going to a kind of a Tampa 2 look where Jack, it happened on the Minka play. You can watch it where Minka's able to play with such width as a 2-high safety because Jack, as that kind of the middle linebacker in a cover 2, right? That deep linebacker just kind of sprints out there to cover the middle of the field. And so Minka's able to keep that width and ends up with the pick 6. Again, it's.
I think
if it's this easy to get Joe Burrow to look human, which is just play too high and make him beat you. This is why I'm saying, look, I know I'm early on regression. Of course, it's week 1. Don't overreact to week 1. But guess what?
They'll look better. Next week is the Cowboys. Okay, we have some super chats here.
You're not going to be going up against Mike Tomlin,
and the Cowboys right now with Cooper.
If Mike McCarthy schemes up something to beat Joe Burrow,
he doesn't know what to beat.
Tony's coming back again for a Cowboys game.
McCarthy has not. When's the last time Mike McCarthy schemed up anything?
Yeah, remind me a lot of week 1 last year when the Steelers thought they were top dogs. People said the same about Rodgers last year, week 1.
Well, okay, but hold on.
I don't think they get it though. This isn't like the Steelers think they're winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, they're just talking shit because they beat you because you were in the Super Bowl, dog. Like that's the problem, right? It's not what the Steelers think of themselves. That's why they're celebrating like this because they know we went to your crib and beat you, and we know that wasn't expected, right? That's what makes this sweet. So, telling them they're not that good, you lost to them at home, dog. I don't know what to tell you. That's the part of this I can't get behind. Being mad at them for beating you, I don't know what that's gonna do. Are the Steelers gonna win 11 games this year? Maybe. I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but Tony did predict 7 wins, right?
I did. Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah. So telling him this team's not going to be amazing this year, I mean, who cares? He got a moment, and you didn't. You know what I mean?
The Steelers are supposed to be in hell right now. Ben Roethlisberger retired. It's supposed to be all right. Well,
the problem wasn't Ben. Now we know it's Tomlin. That's the problem.
Yeah, guess what? Tomlin just turned 50, and he looks like a guy who's going to coach for at least another 10.
Yeah, he was dancing pretty smooth in that locker room.
Tomlin's got swag. Swag.
Tony needs to chill.
You saying swag with those sunglasses and that hat just brought me back to 2008.
Tony, this one's specifically for you. Tony needs to chill. It was one game. LL.
It was only one game. It was only one game. It was only one game. Okay. All right, Bengals fans. Only one game, dude.
Yeah, it was one game against the Steelers, though.
One game. One game against Mitch Trubisky. Hey, we'll get him next time. We'll get him next time. We'll get him next time.
Hey, you know what's going to be funny? They're not going to be satisfied when they beat y'all, if they beat y'all again, because what you going to do, smoke the pack of a team that you should have probably never lost to? It's not
again.
fun.
And it tells you who Bengals fans actually think their team is. Right. And I've given you both crap about this in the past. I said this to Sonny. Stop treating Lamar with kid gloves. If you want to treat him like a top 5 guy, then let's treat him like a top 5 guy, right? I've given you Ace or Q that same thing last year when everyone was talking about horseshoes against the Chiefs and look, the Browns almost beat the Chiefs. Look, if you're a contender, if you're a contender, if you actually believe that your team is great, don't give me look, it took 5 turnovers to beat us. We almost came back and won. Sorry. Teams or contenders don't lose to Mitch Trubisky. Don't throw the game away to Mitch Trubisky. So if you really believe that your Bengals are a Super Bowl contender, then take this L for what it was. A trash performance by a guy who is nowhere close to MVP.
Okay, and then we get Ty here says, I know the loss yesterday was hard, but I'm taking the high road on this one. We looked rusty yesterday, and I'm confident we'll bounce back against the Cowboys. Who they? You don't want to lose to the Cowboys right now. You lose to the Cowboys, then it's panic mode.
Yeah, don't lose to Cooper Rush.
Yeah,
Because then the panic button's getting hit. Because like Cooper Rush and Mitchell Trubisky in back-to-back weeks, that's you can't let that happen. They don't let week 5 happen or week 8 or whatever it is. You lose to Jacoby Brissett. No. That Packers gonna get smoked.
Oh man, be more nervous. Shout out to you, man. Almost midnight over here. I said it before and I'll say it again. Bengals are the only team in the AFC North on a 2-game losing streak. That was a great throw, by the way. Ray Rack here says the Bengals made us not even talk about the Lamar crunch that leaked back and forth that the Ravens and Lamar had over the weekend. That was in my opinion, that was a non-story.
We should have
non-story. Yeah.
We should have a bar here, right?
No.
Every time Lamar Jackson has a good game, we're just gonna throw more money into this pot, and we're just gonna be like, watch the price of Lamar Jackson go up or down. We're gonna have a stock market index for Lamar Jackson this season. I would say it's pretty steady, plus probably like a 0.5%. You know, it would. What do you think that Lamar stock went after Sunday's game, Tony?
I
think it's steady.
I think it's
in the chat. What was that?
We're gonna have a stock market for Lamar Jackson's price as the season goes on. You know, I think it stayed pretty much at market value today. I don't think.
It's 250. It's 250 right now.
It's 250 right now.
250 fully guaranteed right now.
Hey, Sonny, you want to buy at 250? The Ravens don't.
Look, I'm gonna disclose this. I said to the guys that often, but I think, and with this, I'm like Lamar. I don't want to hear until the end of the year. I think they put the non-exclusive tag, and they tell Lamar, see if you can find a better deal than ours, and if you do, we might want to match it. I think
you better hope Jalen Hurts is a baller, because if they feel like he's not adequate, and they're like, well, we could make an offer to Lamar Jackson and only lose 2 first-round picks. Man, let me tell you, Howie Roseman.
They can match it, right? They can match it. So we'll see.
How does that work for the Dolphins? Because they don't have a first-round pick. Do they just give up the next 2?
I think you have to have
that's the question that needs to be asked.
I don't know. Yeah.
That might be the 4D chess that they're playing there, knowing that the Dolphins are probably the only team that would do it. But we'll see.
Steelers fan here. My Steelers won, but these heart attacks got to stop. Never.
No, never. And I think Mike Tomlin's doing it to us on purpose at this point. I think he's just going out there saying, how bad could my offense be and I still win? Let's give it a shot.
That's the game he's been playing for like 4 years, though. Like since this show has started, it's been the Mike Tomlin clench your butt cheeks experience. You know what I mean out there?
No, it started during Mason. It's like he had so much fun in that 8-8 year with Mason and Duck. And he's like, nah, I just want to keep embarrassing teams like this.
He's like, I don't ever want to be up by 3 touchdowns in the first half again. Like
I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but one of the more interesting things about this game before the pick 6, the Steelers were running with pace early. You know, they were like the Oregon offense where they were getting to the line, they were running with pace early. And it felt like, are the Steelers going to try and like run 70 plays today to try and put up a bunch of points and try to be a great offense? And then Burrow threw the pick 6 and Tomlin said, shut it down, boys. We don't need you to play offense. Defense got this one. Just don't screw it up.
Tim Holtz, the other thing I see here is somehow my message had deleted. If you put it there, Tony, can you make sure if you see it too? Let me know.
What was his name?
Tim Holtz.
Tim Holtz. All right, I will look.
Born yesterday here says Emerson versus Pickens is gonna be wild. NFL.
I don't know what it looked like when they played each other in the SEC, but that'd be interesting. I don't know how much they're gonna see of each other though.
Yeah,
Mason Rudolph trending on Twitter now.
Interesting.
I knew when Dak went down that this was going to start. And,
can we talk about? Okay, I'm sorry. I've had to hear this dumb scenario all year, and I just want to lambast how stupid this scenario has always been. oh man, hey, if somebody gets a big injury during the year, Quincy, we can get like 3 first-round picks for Baker or something ridiculous, right? That was the hold on to Baker because somebody's going to get hurt. Sometimes if your quarterback gets hurt, your first reaction isn't, let me trade for another expensive quarterback. That's not your reaction. It just isn't.
Hey, Mason's cheap.
Mason's cheap. That's what I'm saying. Everybody going for Jimmy Garoppolo. No, they're not doing it. Jimmy hasn't practiced, like he's practiced for a week, and then he's gonna learn new offense. They'll get somebody like Mason or somebody that they know that used to be they'll get Andy Dalton or swing a trade for him or somebody like that. They're not these quarterbacks that you go for in these situations are never who people think they're gonna be. The Ravens have after the trade deadline, but everybody came with that take, and nobody is like, when's the last time a quarterback got injured and then a team made a blockbuster deal to get a temporary quarterback? Name me that guy. Why did everybody run with that like that's a reality in the NFL? What a stupid summer of takes that I had to sit through because of Baker Mayfield. Good riddance. I added him to my block words list. Oh, I can't wait I'm done. What a stupid series of freaking tweets I had to deal with this summer. Peace out, y'all.
Brandon here says, why is Aquilo on an island?
When was he on an island? I mean, he had to deal with the best Jamar did in this game. And look, Jamar's a great wide receiver. I'm not going to take away from him. But he had like speed outs and stuff. Like, yeah, he's going to be on an island. You're not going to get help on that stuff. But it wasn't like Aquilo got burned downfield. Aquilo, I thought, played a decent game, especially considering the matchup.
Okay, I think this is a last super chat. Lord, please don't let the Browns lose to the Steelers in week 3. I don't need heel Tony against me.
Listen,
it's fine.
Heel Tony only
Browns, please. I'm begging you.
No. I don't think y'all understand. This shit was coming for the Bengals.
This was a special occasion.
This isn't because they won a division game.
Yeah,
this was personal. You know how it was personal in Cleveland this week? It was personal. That was a personal one. Mike Conway give out black Air Force Ones for no reason. I'll just say that. He wasn't doing that if they were playing the Titans.
Me and Bengals fans have a little bit of a history, so it may seem weird to bring out heel Tony in week 1, but
and look, man, I'm not gonna lie, Bengal fans have a way of bringing it out of you, don't they?
Oh, they do.
They have brought it out of all. Hey, Sonny acted there amused, like let Lamar put up 50-10 on the Bengals, and then look, Sonny ain't gonna be out here pulling receipts from both of them games. You know what I mean? Or how much did Marlon Humphrey go? Yeah, it's nice. We know the Petty's going to be in full swing. Come on now. The Bengals bring it out of you. They fans, better or worse, got to give them credit. They are dedicated. But boy, do they, them and Baker Bros. Nobody makes their demise sweeter than those fan bases. And I kind of have to admire that kind of dedication to not caring about taking the L if you got to. Even right now, they refuse to hold the L. They lost to the Steelers with Mitchell Trubisky after missing 2 field goals, and they're telling me about the long snapper, and they're like, nah, dog, it's not a real L. Come on, dog. At home? At the opener? To That's Mitchell right. Trubisky? That's tough. That is one of the toughest. After you won the Super, imagine if you would have won the Super Bowl and that was your ring night. That could be your ring night, but instead you don't got no rings, and Mitchell Trubisky beat you in Cincinnati. That's gotta be tough. But they just sitting there. Nope, not gonna take the L. That's something.
They refuse. It's just excuse.
Let me tell you, Mitchell Trubisky beat me week 1. If Mitchell Trubisky beat the Browns week 1, man, I would just be like, yo, we got to reevaluate some things because
Jimmy
that is supposed to happen.
Tony looks like Roger Rabbit's character. Love it. And this is for Q. And with this, we shut it down. K. York. Why not be Rookie of the Year? Why not be a movie?
Just so y'all know, this is a fickle love of K. York.
Yeah.
This is a figure. I just want y'all to know this ain't no marriage. I will cheat. He's 2 kicks away. He took 2 kicks away from my heart, and he's 2 kicks away from losing it. I got no loyalty out here to these kickers. So I love him right now, but he treating me right. So, you know, we gonna be good.
By the way, half of the Survivor League got busted this week. And then there's still the Broncos. That's my pick. So we'll see even more.
Can't go wrong betting on the Jets to lose. Shout out to those sorry ass Jets.
Oh, listen, that is 100%. I am betting against that. They cannot make the line high enough for me to not.
I was like, I signed up. Who's my week 1 matchup? There was no hesitation in what I was picking. Jets versus the Ravens. I'm gonna take the Ravens here. I'm gonna get my pick out here real quick. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Jets. Yeah, they talk so much garbage.
Yeah,
like that's another level. Like, you know, it must be that New York in them because they be used to hyping up the Knicks, and the Knicks don't ever do shit. So I guess they got to hype up the Jets. But that's tough, man.
Guys, we will see you on Wednesday back here.
Yeah, Sonny, I appreciate you having me